on ABC Local Radio and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
ABC Grandstand Digital.
And a very good afternoon to you around Victoria for the broadcast of the VFL Grand Final. It is Footscray. Yes, Footscray, not the Western Bulldogs, but under the old name of Footscray. It's their first season under the Footscray name, and they're in the Grand Final first up, and they play Box Hill, which of course is the feeder team to Hawthorn. It's the Box Hill Hawks, the reigning premiers in the VFL competition. So today, Footscray versus Box Hill. We're under the closed roof at Docklands. And the great news is that Cyril Rioli is playing. He might get half the crowd here on his own because there's a very good crowd building up. Start of the game about quarter of an hour away. Drew Morfitt with you and Adam White. Good afternoon, Whitey.
Good afternoon, Drew. It is a good crowd and so many Western Bulldogs stroke Footscray fans are here today because obviously the Bulldogs haven't had too much success when it comes to premierships over the years, even playing in grand finals. So there is, it's great to see so many kids in their Bulldogs jumpers coming along today. A lot of the players that will be playing today for the Bulldogs have played a fair bit of AFL football over the course of the season. So that's half of it. The other half of it is Cyril Rioli because unfortunately Brad Sewell and Ben McAvoy won't be playing today for Box Hill. I say unfortunately because it would have been great to see them play, to put up their hand for selection next week in the AFL Grand Final, but they have been rested. I wonder what that actually means. Alistair Clarkson spoke to us on the Sunday Inquisition today, and pretty much Sewell is there on standby for Jordan Lewis. Probably won't play Brad Sewell because the feeling is that Lewis will be able to train as early as Tuesday after corking his thigh yesterday. But the McAvoy one is the one that interests me. The fact that he isn't playing, I've got a feeling he might be coming in for Segler next week in the big one.
Could be. I hope so, because if he doesn't play next week and he misses this week, he misses the chance of playing in a premiership twice.
Well, we saw Simpkin win 2 premierships last year. You'd hate to think that McAvoy would miss out on 2 opportunities this year.
Yeah. Now, with us today, Andy Collins, who bowed out of the competition last week as coach of Williamstown. Welcome, Andy.
Welcome, Drew. It's looking forward to the afternoon. Obviously, both these teams have beaten Williamstown over the last 2 weeks. So, McAvoy out. He single-handedly probably destroyed us last week and got Box Hill into the final. We went down by 7 points. So, he took, I think, 11 contested marks, McAvoy. So I'm not surprised Hawthorn are going to bring him in.
Now, of course, the name will be familiar to a lot of our listeners. Former Hawthorn player yourself. So no doubt you're taking a little bit of a Box Hill side today. Would that be fair to assume?
Yeah, definitely. You know, a few of the boys out there that I've coached and had a little bit to do with when I was a development coach at Hawthorn back in 2004-05. And obviously the Hawthorn runs through my blood very much from a young age.
Now, alongside you is Lindsay Gilby, and I'm pretty sure that he'll take the side of Footscray as the mighty red, white and blues come out to play in a grand final. Gilbs, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Drew. It's a fantastic, as the crowd's building, I think these are the games that should be the prelude to AFL footy on Saturdays and Sundays. I'd love the old the reserve system to come back and play. I think that's your best form of entertainment leading into senior football. But yeah, there's a lot of Western Bulldog supporters in the crowd walking through a bit before I even got recognised, Drew. So I'm not out of their minds yet, and just
it was a head wobble.
Yeah, a little bit of a head wobble, wasn't it? No, all in good jest, Whitey. But I'm really looking forward to this game. It would be good for the Dogs to get up for their supporters that have gone through so much hardship over a long time. They won a pre-season premiership a few years ago, which probably doesn't count for anything really. But this would be a great feather in the guy's cap who's organised the VFL this year in Ben Graham.
Yeah, definitely. Just a bit of housekeeping before we get down to mentioning a few of the names that will be familiar to our listeners to AFL football during the year who'll be going around here today. There was a curtain raiser here today. It was the TAC Cup Grand Final for the youngsters, the under-18s, and it was won by Oakley Chargers, who defeated the Calder Cannons. The final score, the Chargers 17-15, 117 to the Cannons, 11 goals for 70. Gilbs, you saw a bit of it. Darcy Moore was out there and played in the winning side, kicked a couple at least.
Yeah, he was fantastic. The guy I'm not sure the kid who was from the Calder Cannons who played on him, did a did a reasonable job in the end, but more you can just see. I think you'll see a lot of AFL clubs bidding on him and with use of their first-round draft selection for sure. Collingwood will have to surrender that.
Of course, Peter Moore, his father, a dual Brownlow medalist, so he comes from great stock. It's amazing how the sons of guns come up and make the big time.
Well, Drew, I was actually sitting right behind him watching the TAC Grand Final and had the Moore family in front cheering at every one of his spectacular marks. He's an outstanding athlete, and look at
He's taller than Peter, isn't he?
He looks like his dad, the way he moves, doesn't he? And his marking was a class above anyone out in that ground in that final.
And the way he competed after the mark, sometimes he dropped the mark in the contest, but his ability to butter up with leg speed and get back at his opponent to tackle and turn the turnover was really, really good.
Well, Lindsay, just down front, his tackle chase, and that for a big man of his size and to show that leg speed, that's... The other clubs can bid, but I'm sure that Collingwood aren't going to lose out on that father-son. What a great addition to the history of the Collingwood Footy Club going forward to have another Moore in that family.
Now, some of the names who are out here today you'll be very familiar with. For Box Hill, Ryan Schoenmakers, who's played a lot of senior football this year. Kyle Cheney alongside him in the back pocket. Luke Litherland, who came over from Claremont in Western Australia, and he wouldn't be that far from getting a senior game for the Hawks. He's picked at centre-half back for Box Hill today. Just so many players. Luke Loudon, I saw him play his first game down in Tassie, and he kicked 3 goals. He got a goal with his very first kick. Had the worst haircut I've ever seen for a bloke playing league footy, and today's is not much better.
Recruiters are going to be looking at this from list management perspective. Like Loudon's been on Hawthorn's list now, I think it's 4 or 5 years.
Yes, I think it's 6.
And he kicked 4 goals again last week, Drew, in regards to the winning final, and another outstanding performance. And when you look at some of the AFL ruckman going around, Loudon is queuing up. He's at a beautiful age to get on an AFL list, and I have no doubt that he'll be looking for further opportunities in another club next year. And that's the beauty of what we're going to probably look at today. We're going to have a look at a lot of these fringe AFL players for both clubs, looking at maybe further opportunities at a new club next year versus obviously winning the grand final today.
And for the Bulldogs, the likes of Jared Grant, who's had many chances. He's played 6 seasons with the Bulldogs at AFL level. You've got Liam Jones, Tory Dixon, so many blokes with league experience. Michael Talia, Lucas Markovic, their co-captain, is out injured, and their other co-captain is also out, Nick Lower. So bad luck for Footscray, they're missing those 2.
And you throw in Brett Goods. He's a very, very good player at this level. He dominates most games, and it's also guys that they got from other sources. In Jordan Russell, who's come across from the Blues after being delisted last year. He's been a very, very good acquisition for them, and a guy who's just a really good player. Was very unlucky at league level to only play so many games through injury, and that's Brent Prismall. He's a fantastic guy. He was obviously involved at Williamstown last year. He's come across, and he heads up their player welfare at the footy club, and to have him contributing in the reserves each week is a really big win for the club.
Yeah, Brett Goods, of course, the brother of Adam Goods, who is going around in another grand final next weekend for the Sydney Swans, and Brett has won the best and fairest this year for Footscray, so carrying on the family tradition. Plenty of gongs in that family.
Yeah, Talia is another big name for the Bulldogs, and obviously his brother's a fair player as well.
So, okay, Andy, you've played against both these sides. Have you got a bit of a favourite? I mean, Footscray finished 2nd on the ladder, Box Hill finished 4th on the ladder, but you get to this stage and that probably doesn't mean a hell of a lot.
No, look, I really like the midfield of the Western Bulldogs, and Goods has been one of the outstanding midfielders of the VFL. And with Campbell coming into that and Cordy, that's a really strength of theirs. But I really like the ends of the Box Hill Hawks. I really like the back line and the forward line. So, it's going to be interesting to see whether the Western Bulldogs defence can handle the Hawthorn offence.
The team's lining up on the dock side of the ground, and we're going to have the national anthem prior to the start of the game. And breaking from AFL tradition, looks like we might get a live version because there's a bloke out there with a guitar. Well, it might be a bit of fun. The AFL version gets trotted out all the time. Play tape. Really good crowd has gathered here today for this, and I think we're going to be in for a magnificent day. So the Master of Ceremonies getting a replacement microphone. That doesn't happen in the AFL either.
Not sure what the delay's for, Drew.
Cue him.
It's not like the television broadcast is coming back from an ad because it's on the ABC.
Could be tuning in the guitar he's got down there. He could be doing all sorts of things.
Yeah. Top tier of the grandstands empty, so they haven't opened them up today. But, the rest of the stadium is really well populated. Well, the players will be nervous starting their game, and the MC's nervous waiting for the cue.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of AFL Victoria, welcome to Etihad Stadium for the 2014 Peter Jackson VFL Grand Final. Would you now all please be upstanding and join with the players, coaches and umpires, and welcome award-winning singer-songwriter Darren Coggan to perform the Australian National Anthem.
Australians all, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts, our beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
I like the difference about it. The other thing about doing the VFL is you've got to get used to high numbers. There's blokes. Brad Sewell's going to play in 82. Cyril Rioli's going to play in number 71. The captains are going to toss the coin. Well, David Mirror, the captain of Box Hill, is number 1. And opposite him is Jordan Russell, who's tossing the coin in number 65.
Yeah, Ryan Shawmaker's in 75, Tim O'Brien in 73, Luke Loudon in 70. You mentioned Jordan Russell for the Bulldogs in 65, Drew. Brent Prisnall's in 50. And then some of the other Bulldogs players are actually going to be wearing the numbers that they would wear if they were playing in the AFL.
So Jordan Russell has won the toss for the Bulldogs, and they're going right to left on your radio dial in the first quarter towards the Lockett end.
I tell you what, this crowd is bigger than some AFL games we've been to this year.
No doubt.
I was about to say the same thing. I think the Bulldogs would be happy to get a crowd on every home game for what we see here in front of us.
The top tier is closed, but on the bottom two tiers, they're jam-packed, particularly out on the city side and behind the goal.
Do you think...
Actually, a few have just started to filter into the top tier, so maybe they have thrown it open.
Do you think they should do that for every home game? So, say Bulldogs played Fremantle here, or GWS played the Bulldogs. Do you think they should do the same for the AFL games?
Yep. Keep it to the two levels.
Yeah, keep it to the two levels.
Yep.
Yeah,
feel as though you're part of a crowd, that there's somebody sitting next to you, rather than having to do sign language to communicate with the bloke who's 30 metres away. Now, the ABC has spared no expense for this VFL Grand Final, because Martin Blake is our man on the boundary. Good afternoon, Blakey.
Hello, Drew. I'm on Sunday rates today. Actually, it's 23 degrees down here, absolutely lovely, and terrific atmosphere, as you've mentioned. I reckon it's probably about 65-35 split of supporters the Footscray's way. There's a little bit of a scuffed up area on the far side of the ground, or the city side of the ground, where there was a concert the other day, but it's actually not as bad as what it looks. And boys, I'm all over Cyril Rioli. I'm sitting right behind the Box Hill bench. I was just in the media centre or the press box before, and there's a lot of journos out here today to watch Cyril, because with no AFL game on, this is the footy story of the day. My gut feeling, I'm not sure what you boys think, I think Cyril might have left his run too late, but if he could kick 3 or 4 today and get through the game, that could change.
Actually, I might have misinterpreted Russell's signal when he won the toss. I think he was going the other way. He's going left to right to the Coventry end. He must have given it a bit of a thumb over his shoulder. Otherwise, Cyril's playing in back pocket. Don't think that'd be the case. Do you expect him to play the whole game?
It depends on the result, who's up at certain stages, but if they're clearly in front, they'll rest him.
Here we go, grand final underway. Adam White.
And you can hear the crowd. It is a big crowd here at Docklands for the VFL Grand Final of 2014. And we're underway with the Box Hill Hawks working it up towards half forward. That's where it breaks down. Brett Goods gets a good handball out to Prismal, who kicks up towards half forward in the direction there of Redpath. He's a big fellow. He gets knocked to the ground, but he was able to get the front spot and at least create a neutral situation, and the ball will be thrown up just inside the centre square. The Dogs attacking to the Coventry end. Coming through Goods again at the 50. His handball was poor. Hartong kicks it out of the congestion. And now it's Isles for Box Hill. Gets a handball. Here's Cyril. Taps it over his head. Volleyball style. And it might work out okay as well, because coming through there was Kelly. They get it inside 50, the Hawks. Now Grimley, a big chance here. He picks up the football. He's tackled. He stands in the tackle. He gets a handball back. Hawks still a chance potentially through Murphy. He's dispossessed. The ball gets locked up, and that'll come out. It'll come out the Dogs' way. Prisma working very classily again. And now with Campbell, and now they go by foot.
Yeah, everybody wanted Cyril to mark that ball and have a bit of a run, but he tapped it over his head, so he's playing team football. The mark on centre wing taken by Big Jack Redpath. Long way up from the forward line. Low and hard ball towards half forward. Well, Jones overruns it. Getting back there for Box Hill is Brand to take the ball over the boundary line.
And Sam Darley looking down has got the big job on Rioli.
You're playing in a VFL Grand Final, you think, gee, I'm going to come up against somebody good, but not quite as good as Cyril. Hawks clear out of the congestion. Mark taken by Murphy. Gets the hand pass to Woodward. And he chips a short pass. Rioli marks on the wing. That brought the crowd to life. Rioli's kick, not all that flash. On the bounce is taken by O'Brien. He works it out wide to Woodward, who'd followed up. He kicks down towards the forward pocket, headed for Grimley, but the ball's punched away in defence. Excellent work by Johannesson to see the ball out of play. It was Mark Austin. And the ball's out, so we haven't had a score, and this is 40 metres away from Hawks' goal.
Where's Cyril? Is he lurking here from the throw-in? Comes down, and again, just a huge pack of players around the contest, and it will be thrown up.
I've got a comment on the umpires. They wear the iridescent orange. I don't know why the AFL umpires don't wear something like that. It clashes with nothing, and you can see them.
You certainly can. You can see them from another suburb away. The ball gets thrown up again and straight back into the congestion.
Well, who was the colour coordinator for the AFL who worked out that pale green and grey was the colours to wear? Fair dinkum.
From the throw up, sliding in, working extremely hard there for the Hawks was Woodward. And now the kick inside the 50, gets to full forward. Grimley was half a chance there. He was in front and may have been pushed to the ground. There you go. The umpire just got flattened, Drew. There's going to be a free kick now because there's a tangle, and a free kick to the Dogs to be taken by Austin in the last line of defence, with Grimley involved in a bit of a scuffle.
Yeah, Austin and Grimley not best of friends already. Austin kicks across the face of goal. So they're going the long way home, and the safe way home. And the mark's taken by Darley. And he goes short. They still haven't got it outside the defensive 50. Now Howard up towards half-back flank, so it's good use by foot here by the Bulldogs, stringing together some kicks and marks. Russell up towards centre wing. Mark not taken, gets to the back. Grant runs onto it for the Dogs. His kick smothered, but it comes back to him. Battles the ball, picked up by John. He works it in. Johannesson, good kick, but it bounces towards centre half forward. Schoenmakers is there for Box Hill. Hand pass comes back to Brand, who clears in towards the centre square. Grabbed by Goods, swivels the hips, gets the hand pass away, doesn't hit a target. Front edge of the centre square, it comes out towards the wing now. And a chance for the Dogs again. Dixon gets his hand pass up. It comes to Johannesson, who's over it. Ball, say the crowd, and the umpire in the bright orange agrees, and it's going to be a Box Hill free kick. We still haven't had a score in 4.25 minutes.
And some nervous players at the moment. The free kick to go to Sicily. He'll go long down the broadcast wing. Well, the dockside of the ground. Oh, terrific mark taken by O'Brien with the one hand. He'll kick to an open forward line. This is a good, promising build-up. Murphy was there. Spoil came from Russell from behind. So it was good defensive work there by the former Magpie and the former Blue. And as a result of that, the ball gets locked up. 45 out from Box Hill's goal. Umpire throws it up very quickly. Comes down. The Dogs seem to have more numbers around this contest. And they break with it. And that's holding the ball. He got tackled and tried to bounce it. You can't do that, unfortunately, Ling Jong. He's saying, what? What are you talking about? But he was tackled. And Woodward will get the free kick for the Hawks.
And Cordy had just come off the bench and was streaming goalwards. That was a goal coming up.
It was. And the kick to full forward. It clears the pack and goes through for a goal. So Box Hill on the board with Alex Woodward. Now he got the free kick and kicked it from the front part of the centre square. He really just popped it up, Lindsay and Andy, to full forward, expecting the pack to fly. They did, but they all misread it, went over the back and through.
Well, the Ling Jong free kick, I'd like to see that again, because to me that wasn't a free kick. I mean, the tackle needed to be executed. That was literally a hand on the shorts, and it was a bad mistake by the umpire, but a great kick by Alex Woodward, the reigning Liston medal winners.
That made a difference between a goal at one end or a goal at the other end.
Yeah. The 12-point play.
Oh, it was. Here's the bounce in the middle. Gooden too. Cordy has gone straight onto the ball. But ripped out of the middle by Box Hill. The hand pass comes out wide. Gee, they're showing some toe. Hartung runs onto it and kicks it wide. I don't know why he went out there. And it bounced out of bounds in the forward pocket. Martin Blake.
Drew, Cyril Rioli just having a little spell on the bench for the first time. Masur working on his left hamstring, but Panicky's okay. He actually looked pretty good.
I am panicking. I mean, I don't want to see the physio working on his hamstrings. I want him to be 100%, and I hope he plays next week in the big one for the Hawks. Here's the throw in, the ball out of the corridor in front of goal, 30 from goal, but the umpire comes in and calls a halt to proceeding. This ball is going to be thrown up by Brent Wallace, the umpire, who's the son of Terry Wallace, the plough. Chance here for Box Hill, close to goal. Bulldogs defending grimly. Grabbed by Russell, it bursts out of the pack. What a beautiful kick. Jared Grant takes the mark at half-back flank for the Bulldogs.
Grant just pokes it down the line, and they can continue to build the Dogs, this time through Fogarty.
Are we still allowed to call them the Bulldogs, or it's got to be Footscray every time?
No, I reckon the Dogs. That's fine.
Fogarty will kick towards half forward. Big Tom Campbell has to beat two. He's in the pack. At least brought it to down. Mirror picks up for the Hawks. A high kick back towards the wing. Dogs have got numbers here. And a good mark on the chest taken by Grant in the pack. Now he'll centre it up inside the centre square. Big chance now for Howard. He kicks towards full forward. Jones comes out on the lead. It bounces off his chest as he tried to stretch down low. And the Hawks can clear as a result. Up towards half back. They've working well here through numbers. Getting involved is Locke. He gets tackled, has to retreat with a defensive handball, and now they'll continue to build down the city side, the Hawks.
Litherland played it well out of defence. Now a short pass by Murphy, and he finds a target just forward of the wing. Here come the Box Hill Hawks, but that kicks astray. Taken by Howard. Goes a short ball inboard to Young. Back edge of the centre square. Young out towards the city wing. Well directed. Brisbane takes the mark. Hand pass comes over the top. This is great running. Howard runs onto it for the Dogs, and a beautiful pass. And the mark has been taken by Campbell about 45 metres from goal. And the bearded Tom Campbell finished third in the Liston Trophy this year. Plenty of action for the Bulldogs at AFL level. And can he get Footscray on the board for the first time in the grand final?
It was fantastic delivery from Christian Howard. That's his real strength of his game. You wanted him kicking the ball inside 50. He did it to Jones on that occasion, but Jones lost his feet. He's a terrific kick.
Campbell kicking from about 49 metres. Drop punt. Looks pretty good. And he does start Footscray on the right foot. It's a goal each. We've been playing 9 minutes.
Well, it's been a pretty good start. There's nothing that's really stood out so far. But the one thing I really want to say is it's fantastic for young kids who get drafted to both clubs. They get to wear their colours. And by saying that, it's St Kilda at the moment. We're affiliated with Sandringham. But some kids mightn't ever get the opportunity because they mightn't be up to it to ever wear the colours. I just think it's a great initiative.
And when you were at the Bulldogs...
we're aligned Werribee and Williamstown.
So they go one way or the other.
Yeah, and we end up playing on teammates.
In the middle we go again, and there's no decisive clearance, so the Box Hill Hawks should be able to get out of there. Or in the end, Sam Isles' kick was smothered as they all come into the contest. Woodward trying to work hard, but it'll be locked up. There's a bit of a story developing outside. There are queues of hundreds trying to get in, and they can't get in at the moment because there's not enough ticket boxes open.
How appalling
And
is
there's
that?
real frustration outside on the concourse at the moment, with fans literally lining up for hundreds of metres trying to get in.
Well, hopefully they're listening to Grandstand, and we'll keep them up to date.
Woodward gets tackled again for the Hawks out on the Justin Timberlake wing. We'll call it the Justin Timberlake wing tonight.
Do they get a discount for staying out there if they missed the first quarter?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, maybe they've thrown open the top deck because we did call it as being closed, and now people are getting there. Maybe they are on freebies.
Well, there's a few people have sent in tweets with photographs of the queues outside, and they've only just come through. So it does look like there's still a lot of people trying to get in from the throw-up situation. The Hawks are able to build again. Oh, good tackles applied by at least two Dogs. Quick kick out of the congestion by Kelly. He gets it towards full forward and sort of drifts away into the pocket in the end. And it was easy for Russell to just escort it over the line for a throw in about 25 metres around from the Hawks goal.
Actually, Jordan Russell's doing a pretty good job back there. They might be lacking a little bit of height. Markovic not playing, out through injury, the co-captain. And here's a mark on the 50, taken by Willsmore.
An extraordinary kick, Willsmore. Big left foot, well beyond 50 metres in regards to the kicking talent. But is it Willsmore or is it O'Brien with his shot?
I reckon Dallas Willsmore. Taking a big long runner. Man on the marks, 48 out.
He's one of the biggest kicks at Hawthorn at the moment.
Left foot drop punt, a raking kick for the distance. That is a sensational goal.
True, I've watched this young boy establish, and he's kicking prowess at the Hawthorn Football Club, and Hawthorn prides itself on its kicking skills, and they classify him as the best kick of Hawthorn, and that is a big rap for this young man, isn't it?
Because Suckling's considered the best kick in the AFL, and not surprisingly, Willsmore is a left footer. They love their left footers.
They do, and he's a real emerging talent that can float from the half-forward flank to the wing, and he's just another one of that chain that they're producing down there at Hawks Land.
And he's a graduate from the AFL Academy, went to St Pat's.
Back in the middle, high bounce, favours Campbell, who was able to knock it down there for the Dogs, and then Goods comes in as well. They're forward to the centre, but then they lose it. The kick comes up towards Rioli, who got a bad bounce. It goes over his head, and the Dogs can mop up. Russell started extremely well. Kicks it forward to centre. That's not a bad kick either, as the Dogs can continue to build forward. The kick comes inside the 50 from Hayes. Oh, yes, terrific mark. Inside the 50 for the Dogs, and it's been taken by Big Redpath.
You spoke about Redpath before, Whitey, about 5 or so minutes ago. He's a brute of a man. He's close to 200 centimetres, 103, 104 kilos, but it's his athleticism, how quick he is. As we've seen there, he's just thrown Schoenmakers, who's not a small guy, just to the side and took a great contested mark.
Leading goal kicker for Footscray this year with 34 for the season.
Okay, Big Redpath wearing the 43. He's 30 metres out from goal, 45-degree angle. We're right behind the kick. And it's pretty good. Yeah, it's there. So it's goal for goal to start the VFL Grand Final of 2014. It's 2 goals apiece between the Bulldogs and the Hawks.
And he's had a different pathway to the AFL. A young country boy identified as a country talent.
Crichton.
And you can see the transformation of his body shape. And it's going to take him a year or two, but even observing, playing against the young boy this year, is that he's really come on within these 12 months. And he played how many AFL games this year, Drew?
Played 2 or 3.
2 or 3, yeah. So
big lad, 194. Gee, the goal king here has been 100%. And the Bulldogs break from the middle. John gets it. Across to Grant. His hand pass is good. On the 50. Scramble kick low towards the forward pocket. Schoenmakers comes out to meet it. Gets the hand pass away to Hartung. So often a sub in the seniors for Hawthorn. Kicked by Hartung. Short of centre wing. Goods gets in front to put on a good spoil and see the ball over the boundary line. Brett Goods, number 44 for Footscray. 2 goals straight each. Gee whiz, Port Adelaide could have done with straight kicking last night and Fremantle the week before. I know we're under a closed roof, but the kicking for goal has been perfect.
Yeah, it has been. From the throw-in, Goods had a bit of a look, comes out the Dogs' way towards Greenwood, who got a handball, and now there's a push in the back and a free kick to Howard going against Andrews. Oh, his kick is not good. You don't kick it to Rioli in the middle, and that's exactly what's happened. And Cyril just chips it over the top nicely to Hallahan, and now they go towards goal from 45 metres. It's out to the right, and it is a behind, which has been kicked by Ben Ross, wearing number 66. So the first blemish on the scoreboard. It is a behind to the Hawks. Box Hill 2-1, Footscray 2 goals. We've played 15 and a half minutes in the opening term.
And when Rioli intercepted that ball with his mark, he sprung at it like a cat. So that was good signs for the Hammies, I reckon.
He's moving very well, which is a great sign for the Hawthorn supporters.
Bulldogs working it out of defence. Goods can't quite get boot to ball. And it is chopped off by O'Brien. A high ball for Box Hill. It lands near the goal, near the boundary line, out in the forward pocket, but is cleared by Howard for the Bulldogs. Gets a hand pass away to Prismal. They're often running here, the Dogs. Out to Greenwood. Up towards the middle of the ground. Oh, great tackle from behind, laid by Woodward, the medalist, the Liston Trophy winner. And he was absolutely magnificent then. And he got Tom Young from behind and nailed him near the wing.
Yeah, that was sensational for Woodward. Not the first time he's been rewarded for a tackle in this game. The kick towards the 50, nearly a mark taken by Talia. Off the pack, a chance for the Hawks. The flying shot at goal's missed absolutely everything. And it's gone out of bounds on the full. A free kick to be taken by the Dogs in the left back pocket. As they try and work out what way to go. And Darley's going to go down the Justin Timberlake side of the ground. Short pass into Goods, who takes the mark. The reason I'm saying that is that Justin Timberlake was here on Thursday night, and there's a fair bit of a worn turf out on that far side.
Were you front and centre for the concert?
No, but my wife was.
Oh.
Apparently she thought it was the best thing ever. The turnover's been forced by the Hawks out on the far side, and the short kick comes into Willsmore, who kicked that great goal earlier in the game.
Another raking left footer by Willsmore, deep inside the 50. No mark, comes to the back. Oh, Russell, you're in trouble. He gets pinned straight away. The tackler, Cyril Rioli, takes him to ground. The umpire says, give it to me, and I'll throw it in the air. Up she goes, close to goal. Grant doing good stuff back in defence here for the Dogs. Gets the hand pass away to Young, under pressure, throws her on the boot, but his kick sails straight to Woodward, who marks about 40 metres from goal. Well, he's having a lot of trouble with Woodward, Tom Young. Once he was run down from behind and nailed in a good tackle, and that time the scramble kick out of defence went straight to Woodward.
This kid's story, double knee reconstruction, Liston medal winner in his first year of VFL footy as a 21-year-old.
He kicks from 45. It sails across the face of goal and through for a minor score. He's already been a premiership player, Alex Woodward. He played for Sandy Dragons. He was the co-captain when they won a premiership, but a couple of knee recos would set your league ambitions behind a bit.
Russell kicks in. Oh, no, the mark's been dropped, and it's going to be a goal to the Hawks. Russell's kick was okay, but it was an absolute howler dropped. Only 20 metres out from goal, and the goal has been kicked for the Hawks by Sicily. And that was just really, really poor there from the Dogs. The kick in, well, maybe it was a little low, but really it still should have been taken by Howard. You can't be dropping them 20 metres out from your opposition goal. The Hawks out by 8 points at the 19-minute mark.
I think the runner would be straight out because it's a high-risk kick for very little reward when you're kicking 20 metres out from your own goal that you're trying to defend. So a real bad mistake from an experienced player in Russell.
Well, I've been giving him a rat, but gee, you lose a few points for that. 3-2 to 2 goals. Box Hill in front. The reigning premiers in the VFL looking to go back to back, and the seniors will be looking to do the same next week. And they break out of the middle here, Box Hill. And the kick by Kelly up towards half forward is chopped off for the Dogs by Pearce. He goes back with his hand pass. And the whistle off the play.
That's Howard again. It's his third howler in the last three instances. The one where he turned over to Rioli in the middle and he gave a free kick off the ball then.
Free kick taken by the bearded Sam Isles, and he kicks it to about 53 metres from goal, and Mark Locke has marked for Box Hill. He kicks all the way to the goal square. There's interference. It's going to be a Box Hill free kick right near the goal square.
Sicily's going to have another gift in front of goal, Drew.
Wow, well.
Former Western Jet, outstanding goal-kicking talent for the Western Jets, and he's come in and he's taken his opportunistic forward role for the Box Hill Hawks this year, and he does know how to kick a goal, and got under the guard of the Western Bulldogs player then, got a head high.
Well, he's looking to become the first multiple goal kicker in the game. His first one was a gift, and his Christmas has come early because this is a gift as well. Virtually in front, 15 metres out. He kicks his second, and Box Hill are 4-2, leading Footscray 2 goals after nearly 21 minutes of the first quarter.
That's the second turnover free kick, Lindsay, in regards to the Western Bulldogs. We talked about the Jong free kick probably there, and then the Howard one. You know, what do you think on that as a coach?
Well, watching him run straight to the bench, the runner's gone, put the headphones on, son, and you can only imagine what's getting said down the line. You being a coach, you've got to be reasonably measured. You can't let him have the full spray, but go down, give him a little bit of confidence to go back on the ground, because he has done some good things, but his big mistakes have really stood out.
They certainly have.
They have.
Wants to dig a hole for himself and jump in it, I think, at the moment. The ball gets bounced in the middle again. Another clearance to the Hawks. This time Andrews kicks the ball towards half forward, but the Dogs have got plenty of numbers at half back. Russell's involved again, and then up to the wing. Mark was dropped there, and as a result, it's a Hawks ball as they work it out, and then a high tackle on Andrews. So another free kick to the Hawks, just forward of the City wing. It's going to be put on his mark. Hannison was the one that gave away the free kick. The ball goes out extremely wide and easy for Russell to knock it over for a boundary throw-in from that marking contest. Blakey.
Whitey Cyril Rioli on the bench again. Just there's a young lady from the Box Hill staff with a couple of stopwatches. They're timing it to the minute when he comes on and off.
Well, this time he's not getting treatment. He's just sitting down. I must say that I'd want Cyril to be out there burning the turf and starring and nearly being best on ground if he's going to get a game next week in the big one. And I don't think sitting on the bench is doing his chances any good at all. Box Hill clear out of defence. Kick by Prisoner. Up towards half forward. It's grabbed by the Hawks, and they go half back to half forward. Gee whiz, Mark dropped by Hallahan, wearing different coloured boots. He's slung to the turf, lost the ball in the tackle. No whistle on the play. Grabbed here by Jensen for the Bulldogs. Through midfield. They're looking at a big show here. The hand pass comes out to Tutt. He puts the hand pass into Grant, who gets to 30 and undergrounds the ball, and misses an absolute soda. Jared Grant had to kick the goal.
I don't know why you go along the ground in that instance. He could have ran another 5 or 10 metres and have made it an absolute certainty. But that's been the best part of the Bulldogs' play so far.
And you see guys playing the AFL, they go back to the VFL and they do the same thing. Although the kicking is not good, it's been intercepted by Fogarty, who has it for the Dogs. He'll have a shot for goal from just outside the 50. Mitch Hallahan standing the mark at 48.
So if you do it in the VFL, where do you go?
Well, I mean, Jared Grant won't be wearing Western Bulldogs jumper next year.
You don't think?
No. Fogarty gets close to the man on the mark, makes good contact. It's there. It's good. It's a goal. So we saw the Box Hill Hawks get a goal from an intercept from the kick-in. Now it's the Bulldogs' turn. And at the 24-minute mark of the term, Box Hill Hawks 4-2-26 and Footscray 3-1-19. A good game of footy. Unfortunately, there are still fans lining up outside trying to get in. This crowd, I think, is well over 20,000.
Beauty. Michael Fogarty, Spotswood lad, part of a big dynasty out there.
No relation to John, obviously, but looking...
We can't sing?
No. In regards to Rioli, he'd be set down for between 70 and 80 minutes. That's usually the case after a guy has been out for such as long as he has.
Well, he's back out there, and at that centre bounce, he was at centre half forward on the paint of 50. But the ball looks like going the other way. Ooh, there's a solid clash, and a Box Hill bloke is down hurt. Here's Grant with another chance. He goes from 49 and misses again, this time to the left-hand side.
It's a frustrating player, Jared Grant. He seems to have all the talent in the world. That final execution. One miss to the right, one miss to the left. As the Box Hill Hawks go out the city side, they work it out towards half-back. Talia with the spoil. Picked up well by Russell. Caught on his left foot. Kicks it towards half-forward. And off the pack, the ball goes out of play for a throw-in. If people are listening to the coverage who aren't able to get in at the moment, go to Gate 3 and Gate 5. Bill Lane from Docklands Stadium has said they are the places to go to try and get into the ground. There are queues at other gates, but 3 and 5 is where you need to go. Lin Jong gets it for the Dogs. He gets a handball out. Now Grant, he's got another go. He's missed one from the right, one from the left. Now back to the right, out of bounds on the full. Surely that one was going to go through the middle. He would have learnt from his last two. That one a little bit under pressure, but he missed to the right, out on the full. The score remains the Hawks by 6.
His shots for goal have been left, right, out, and that's where you reckon he'll be next year. Big pack of players gathering here at half forward for the Dogs. This is a bit of a chance here for Cyril. He's near. It's gone the other way here. It comes to Redpath, and he kicks long for Footscray to the goal square, and it's juggled, and the mark has been dropped, unfortunately, by Campbell. Ball still kept alive for the Dogs. The hand pass comes back. Johannesson, his hand pass to Prismal. Further afield to Pearce. They're losing ground in possession. It comes all the way back here to Austin. Front edge of the square. He works it on to Young on the run from 48, and Tom Young nails the goal. Gee, I'm enjoying the footy. Footscray at 4-2. Box Hill at 4-2. Scores tied up. 27 played opening term.
Well, the momentum the last 5 to 10 minutes has really gone the Bulldogs' way. Tom Young gave away that free kick back in the Box Hill Hawks goal square before, but good to see a lover half-back running down, having a shot. If it's just outside 50 or running through 50, you can't just be a half-back that goes back and worries about your man. You really got to give offence, and he did that on that occasion.
Lindsay, their run on the outside of the Western Bulldogs or Footscray team, it's been outstanding, you know, and Grant's missing the goals, but he's still enjoyable to watch at the moment. He's getting plenty of footy out there.
Woodward with the clearance for the Hawks. He goes long towards full forward. Through the hands there of the Hawthorn forward line. There still may be a chance. Grimley really should have marked that for the Hawks. Cyril's down there applying a tackle, applying a lot of pressure. The umpire fell over and then gets to his feet and will throw it up. That was umpire Jack Edwards. He throws it up quickly. Cyril's around, lurking, so is Woodward. Cyril dives in and it will be thrown up now deep in the left forward pocket for the Hawks.
The other Jack Edwards, who commentated footy on Channel 7, died recently. Played for North Melbourne and commentated for many years on 7. This ball's palmed down into the middle of the pack. Goods crashes through, going nowhere. Chance here for Box Hill if they can get it clear. Prismal clears out of defence, though, for the Dogs. And Redpath comes from a position from behind to charge the ball over the boundary line and keep it out of the opposition's hands. Scores level, 4-2 apiece. 28 and a half minutes played. Opening quarter of the VFL Grand Final, coming to you live in Victoria on Grandstand from Docklands. Ball bobbles from the throw-in and comes to Greenwood. He runs through the pack, goes without it. Cleared for Box Hill by Murphy. Inside the 50. Cyril's there. He dived hard and low. Ooh, the umpire. He could have made himself popular, that umpire, if he just paid Cyril a free in front, 40 out. But he didn't blow the whistle.
He didn't. The ball gets thrown up instead. Oh, Cyril, third man up. Won it down. Can you get the feeling we get excited when Cyril gets it? Isles has it for the Hawks and he's been dispossessed, holding the football. Free kick to the Dogs. There's about 3 Bulldogs tacklers there, so they're really up and about after a slowish start. We're up to 29 minutes in this opening term with the scores level. They go down the corridor. Not a bad option. It's taken by Pearce, who distributes it out, and they go wide to the city side. And Russell again involved. He marks, he chips it over the top to Goods. He'll mark and immediately play on. Wants to get onto his left. He gets corralled, so has to go back on his right defensively. The retreat option, and back to Russell, who'll centre it up to Michael Talia. So they've got the footy, the Dogs, but they're going backwards just at the moment. Talia will go back to the wing, and Goods again takes the mark. As Drew said, his brother playing in a grand final next Saturday at the MCG. The kick up towards big Tom Campbell, who takes a strong mark in front and wheels onto his right. He's going long now. Ace Cordy, this is your moment. This is your chance. Oh, he dropped it from behind when he had to sit. And now a free kick's been given away. A free kick to the Hawks.
It'll be taken by Angus Litherland, who impressed in quite a few games for the Hawks this year. He goes close to the boundary line, centre wing. A pack gathers. Rioli was in front of it. There's no mark. The siren for quarter time. Well, pick a winner in this game. At quarter time, the scores are level at 4-2-26 apiece. It has been a terrific first quarter of football. Just repeating that Brad Sewell, who was originally selected for Box Hill, has been left out of the side, rested. We can only wonder what that's all about. Maybe it's something to do with Jordan Lewis's injury last night, and Ben McAvoy also not playing today for Box Hill. Will there be a change in the ruck stocks next week for the Hawks? But Cyril's playing didn't have much of an impact in the first quarter. The goal kickers in the game for Box Hill. 2 goals in the opening quarter to James Sicily, and singles to Alex Woodward and Dallas Willsmore. And the goal kickers for the Bulldogs, and I'm going to come up one short because I've marked 3 down, so I'll go with Jack Redpath, Tom Campbell and Michael Fogarty. And
Tom Young with that shot on the run.
That's right, I called that one and got so excited I forgot to write it in. 4-2 apiece. Enjoyable.
Yeah, it is. It's been a really enjoyable first quarter. Cyril hasn't really... You can see his energy's there. I know we keep harping back to him, but his energy's there. In the back of his mind, he would have next week firmly on his mind. But as the Bulldogs, it was a tale of virtually 2 halves in that first quarter, wasn't it? It was the Hawks really dominated that first 15 minutes, and then the Bulldogs started to get on top in the second 15 minutes. The way they went about it, they got at the ball on the outside to their runners. In the end, they should probably be a couple up because Jared Grant missed probably 2 easy goals. The other one was under a bit of pressure, but it's been a fantastic game so far.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think the Box Hill Hawks are dominated through Loud and ironically on top of Campbell in regards to the middle. Both forward lines are looking deadly against their relatively defence, and definitely in regard to the outside, I'd give the points to the Western Bulldogs at this point in time.
Lindsay Gilby and Andy Collins with us here on Grandstand this afternoon. Scores level at quarter time, 4 goals, 2 apiece. You're listening to Grandstand VFL on ABC Local Radio and Grandstand Digital.
There's a world of great sport content right at your fingertips with ABC Grandstand Online.
Visit abc.net.au/grandstand.
Get the latest sports results and stories and find out what's coming up with the broadcast schedule. Log on to abc.net.au/grandstand for sports coverage like no other.
Grandstand Sport.
It's on your radio, online, on digital radio and on your mobile. Grandstand AFL.
Grandstand AFL.
Woodward will get the free kick for the Hawks. Cordy had just come off the bench and was streaming goalwards. That was a goal coming up.
It was. The kick to full forward. It clears the pack and goes through for a goal.
Here's a mark on the 50 taken by Willsmore.
Big left foot, well beyond 50 metres in regards to the kicking talent.
Left foot drop punter, raking kick for the distance. That is a sensational goal.
Although the kicking is not good, it's been intercepted by Fogarty, who has it for the Dogs. He'll have a shot for goal from just outside the 50. Mitch Hallahan standing the mark at 48. Fogarty gets close to the man on the mark, makes good contact. It's there.
Pearce, they're losing ground in possession. It comes all the way back here to Austin, front edge of the square. He works it on to Young on the run from 48, and Tom Young nails the goal. Gee, I'm enjoying the footy.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Local Radio, online and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
Good quarter of footy, high-class footy, but some bad news for Box Hill. Luke Andrews, who's a player who's not on the AFL list, has limped back onto the ground for the quarter-time address. He's on crutches, and I'm afraid it looks as though his day's done.
And he started quite well for the Hawks as well. The other good news is now last year, Drew, you didn't do the game last year. I think Dan did the game. Mm-hmm. And next door in the commentary box, our new friends from the under-18s who commentated the game, they sat back and they had a picnic in the box. Some of the best food you've ever wanted to see in your life. And we got quite hungry. And there wasn't a lot of distributing of the food into our box. They're back this year, and already they have asked us if we want to get involved in their picnic, and that is a very, very good sign.
Well, as the tradition continues.
Have a look at the food.
But the setup, they've came in before. They've said we're just on entree at the start, just to rub it in. They've got the bananas. They've pulled out, looks like the old Pascals over there. And now they've brought out the dip. They're just nailing it next door.
Yeah. Come on, you blokes, get back onto the footy. Right? Stop thinking of your stomachs.
Very hard to focus.
Stop thinking of your stomachs, Whitey. So, look, obviously one of the great things about young Andrews, and he's been one of the emerging talents. Oakley Chargers, I think a former captain too, and he's had a terrific background, particularly the back half of this season, Luke Andrews, for the Box Hill Hawks. Highly rated within the Box Hill Hawks Footy Club by Marco Bello.
Anyway, sad finish to his grand final. It's all over before quarter time. We've got some figures for the first quarter of football. The kicks are dead level, 44 apiece. The hand passes, the Bulldogs lead there 44 to 29. And they also lead Box Hill in marks, 22 to 13. The hit-outs, 8-6 in favour of Footscray. The inside 50s, 14 to 12 in favour of Box Hill. And the free kicks favoured the Box Hill Hawks in the first quarter, 7 to 5. Some of the stats leaders, Woodward had 9, Isles 5, Hallahan 6. Rioli had just 3 touches in the first quarter. But for the Bulldogs, Howard 9, Grant and Greenwood 8, as well as Goods and Russell with 8 each.
So that just shows you they've started to get their hands on the footy, the Bulldogs. But the guys who you do want, even though he's made a couple of mistakes, you do want the ball in Christian Howard's hands. He is a very good kicker for football, along with Adam Goods. And Jason Tutt, who's been really, really quiet. He's not renowned for his contested style of game. If they can get it to him on the outside, he can be really damaging. So I'm looking for a bigger lift from him. Yeah,
definitely Footscray are finding space on the ground, and it's a beautiful conditions, isn't it? Like, you want to play under the roof all the time, don't you? You know, if you're a footballer, and it's a great for the VFL to have the grand final at Etihad. I definitely think that the game is evenly poised, as the scoreboard suggests, so Lindsay, and I think that Hawthorn inside 50 is given the Footscray team some grief, because I think that that's their defensive weakness of that area of the field, and I think the game's evenly poised. It's a beauty as a grand final, isn't it?
Well, during the week, Chris Maple, the coach of Footscray, called it the land of the Giants, and it certainly is. Loudon goes up and ruck here against Campbell. And Campbell got a hand to it, but Loudon got his boot to it and kicks the Box Hill Hawks up to the front edge of the centre square. Running onto the ball here is Kelly. He runs into a dead end, and the umpire sprints in and is going to throw it in the air. Scores level, 4-2 apiece. Campbell got a hand to it again. That ball's going nowhere. Jordan Russell lays a massive tackle, and it's right on the paint of 50 as we get to another stoppage. Hallahan, that time going nowhere. Up it goes. Loudon. Hallahan gets in there and contests with Johannesson. Picked up by Jong of the Bulldogs. He kicks up towards Redpath at half forward. Punched away by Schoenmakers. Schoenmakers gathers, but his hand pass is no good. Snared by Jong. Puts the hand pass out wide. Off to Johannesson. He kicks long towards full forward. The ball is there, close to goal, and snapped towards goal by Honeychurch. But right on the line, Grant got a toe to the ball. He couldn't kick him from 30 or 40, so he kicks it from about half a metre.
Well, he would have been in big strife if he missed that one. He would have asked all sorts of questions. 1 metre out. off the ground. I was getting a bit nervous as he was going in, but they just willed the ball forward then, the Bulldogs. They got a contest, and that's all you can ask for. And leg speed, that's what's really been evident from Jared Grant. It doesn't have to be out, and you don't have to hit him on the chest every single time. The kick to grass, being a defender, is just as dangerous as out on the lead, especially with guys with leg speed.
Ling Jong would have to be one of the most improved players on the Western Bulldogs list, you know, to establish himself in the latter half of the year as an AFL footballer. And he's showing his class out here today.
In the middle we go again. One down quite easily by Loudon because the bounce did certainly favour him. And the Hawks have the footy. Chain of handballs. Oh, dropping it there was locked for the Hawks, and the Dogs come up with it. Tutt involved. Gets the handball to Campbell. High kick back towards Grant, who waited for it. And the defenders came over the top and smashed it away from Grant. It's now on the wing. Good tackle applied by Brett Goods to lock the ball up, and it will be thrown up on the Docs wing.
And going back on what you were saying about Lin Jong, just got rewarded with a 2-year contract.
Footscray by 6 points. Campbell wins the tap down. But again, it's unlikely to break out of there, and the umpire has to come in and call for it.
What if Ben McAvoy doesn't get a game for Hawthorn next week? He's been left out of this game today. He's got a chance to play in a premiership here today. He might be a 2-time loser if he misses out next week as well. Goods breaks from the stoppage. Hand pass to Grant, working behind the centre circle. He puts it out in front of Young. Here come the Bulldogs. Young turns Litherland inside out and kicks long. Redpath goes up from behind, juggles, drops the mark. He's left it there for the Dogs, and they're able to clear. Kick by Schoenmakers into midfield. Taken by Goods. Good sidestep. Gets the hand pass going backwards. And the kick is beautiful by Howard. Comes up to Tutt. Tutt floats a hand pass in the direction of Honeychurch. But it is chopped off behind him by Hallahan. Who delivers a good pass. And the mark now taken by Murphy on centre wing. He kicks towards half forward. Oh, good mark by O'Brien. Tim O'Brien for Box Hill. Gets up, gets the hand pass away. Hartung on the run. Kicks to centre half forward. And beautifully done. O'Brien has taken the mark. Sicily has taken the mark in front, about 40 metres from goal.
Just great overlap run by Billy Hartung. You mentioned about Tutt, but Billy Hartung's a 16 big tester. He's got elite endurance, and he's also one of the quickest players over 20. So that's a great matchup out in the wings, and that was a terrific overlap run. Great kick too, wasn't it?
Sicily will kick from about 47 metres. He's kicked it deep into the crowd, but unfortunately away to the right. Missed everything, out of bounds on the full. Footscray 5-2, lead Box Hill 4-2.
And this crowd continues to build, clearly over 20,000 for the VFL Grand Final of 2014 between Footscray and Box Hill. Long kick towards Campbell. Spoil came over the top impressively by Loudon. But the Dogs have it at half-back. Kick up towards Redpath. Caught behind. He had to spoil and then laid a huge tackle and almost killed Sam Hiles. Sam Hiles is saying, how is that not a free kick? But the big man almost ate him as he came from nowhere to make the tackle. The ball gets thrown in. Campbell wins it down. Ling Jong's there. Gets tackled by Woodward and Isles. Isles this time playing in his own weight division. He's able to apply the tackle. It gets locked up. It'll be thrown up. Still right half forward for the Hawks. Lauder wins it down. There's Ling Jong again. Did well. Got the handball out to Goods. On his right. Kicks to midfield. Good spoil from Cheney, but Tutt with the crumbs for the Dogs. Squirts out a handball. It'll work out okay. Johannesson gets the handball to Goods. Goes wide. Jones on the lead. He's got it this time. On the juggle. Just outside the 50. Schoenmakers was right on his hammer. But again, he almost hit him in the face trying to mark on the chest rather than use the hands out in front. And he still was able to take the mark.
Just watch for the three-quarter kick here. Not far to the pocket because it's definitely out of his range.
Jones does exactly what Lindsay Gilby said. Where's Cordy? There he is. He got hands to it as he came to the contest. No mark taken. Locked up. Throw up. At about 15 metres out from the Dogs' goal.
The Ace Cordy's got to start getting into it a bit. In ruck, it's knocked away from goal. And cleared out of there by Hallahan for Box Hill to centre wing. But Young takes the mark for the Dogs. He centres the ball. It's well delivered. And Jordan Russell takes the mark near the front edge of the square. Across the ground he goes. Well delivered. Mark taken by Talia. Michael Talia, his brother this week, named All-Australian. Too far out to score. He kicks to full forward. Campbell comes from behind. No mark. Ball hits the deck. The umpire will sort this out with the ball up, even though the crowd are calling for free kicks. And it's a 6-point game. Footscray 5-2, Box Hill 4-2. And we've had just one goal at the start of this second quarter, and that to Footscray.
Campbell wins the tap down at the top of the Dogs square. But there's so many players around the contest. Woodward was able to squeeze out some sort of handball. They've got it towards the defensive 50 line. Have the Hawks, and now it trickles out of play. Martin Blake.
Whitey, you mentioned Luke Andrews before. He's done a knee, right knee. He's got the ice on it on the bench. I don't think it's the full whammy because I saw him come off the ground and he was able to put some weight on it, but he's out of the game, obviously.
Campbell wins the tap down, but again it comes to the Hawks with Isles around the body. Tumbling footy towards Hartong, who got a bad bounce. Let in Talia. Handball to Roughhead. Over the top to Darley. Now to Howard. So the Dogs working impressively here. Up towards Jones, who was up high. Went with one arm, though. Couldn't complete the mark. But did loom into that contest rather impressively. And the ball's gone out for a throw-in. 45 around from the Dogs' goal.
They've got the clock on Cyril again. He's come to the bench to sit down, not getting treatment. But they're managing his time on ground. He hasn't had much of an impact. 3 touches only. And we're at the 7-minute mark of the second quarter. The boundary throw in. Loudon caught behind. Ball comes down Box Hill's way. Isles just backs into trouble and wins a stoppage. Sam Isles played for Collingwood and the Gold Coast. Thrown up quickly by the man in iridescent orange. Hit out, won by Box Hill. Ball comes down here to Murphy. He's lost control of it. Greenwood for the Bulldogs. Oh, diving in to take a mark, but spilling it close to goal was Jones. It spills away towards the boundary line and helped towards the boundary line by Locke. Was it deliberate? Gee, the crowd reckon. And the Footscray, the Western Suburbs mob, they're here in big numbers. They thought that was worth a free kick. Umpire didn't agree.
Yeah, they're definitely making a lot of noise. They're hungry for a flag. As the ball gets thrown in, Loudon again knocks it down to Hartung. From a standing start, he kicked around the body. A mark was dropped there by Russell. Thought he was going to take that one. Dogs still have it anyway. Goods involved. Now it comes over the top to Dixon. Breaks a tackle. Got a handball to Johannesson. He also broke a tackle with the outside of his boot. He kicks inside 50. The Hawks under a lot of pressure here. And tackles are laid and it will be thrown up again. 40 metres out from the Dogs' goal. So they're pressing. They just can't find the goals at the moment, the Dogs. They lead by 6 points at the 9-minute mark of the second term.
From this stoppage, Mirror grabs it, but he's grabbed in the tackle. David Mirror is the captain of Box Hill, and he made the VFL Team of the Year this year. Close to goal, but can they scramble a goal here, the Dogs? Jared Grant picks it off the deck. Hand pass into a pack. Dixon burrows through. Had his head down. He uses a battering ram. I reckon he should have been knocked off for that. The umpire doesn't agree. He's going to throw it up. Well, we had 4 goals each in the first quarter. Just 1 goal in 10 minutes in the second quarter. Schoenmakers clears out of defence for Box Hill. Gets it well outside the 50. Coming through is Locke. Not bad control below his knees, but eventually he loses control of it. Now Young has it for the Dogs. Back he goes. Out wide it comes to Russell. Good pass. Jones. Oh, he should have taken the mark, Liam Jones. He spilled it on the 50. And there's a tackle laid, and the player's face is buried into the turf. And the Bulldogs fans are here in numbers, and they want free kicks. They want a score. They want to be winning this premiership. You know what? They haven't won anything since they were elevated to the old VFL in 1925. This comes to Tutt. A kick around the corner. Sails home for a goal. From about 40 metres out, Jason Tutt gets the goal. And they lead by 2. Footscray 6-2 to 4-2.
And I mentioned a little bit earlier that if you can get it to Tutt, he is a good finisher by foot. But going back on probably the last 3 or 4 marking contests, Liam Jones has gone to ground. And once you go to ground, you're completely out of the contest. So even though it's good that he's coming out and attacking the ball, you've got to try keep your feet, even though you're not marking the ball.
He's lively, though, isn't he, today? He's presented a really good target for him up front. Just a matchup that we probably should have mentioned. Cully and Goods seem to be going against each other, so Cully looks like he's doing the run-with role with Goods.
So as a coach, Andy, are you happy with him, with Liam Jones, or are you frustrated with him?
No, look, I'd be happy with the way he's presenting and the energy that he's got. Look, obviously, you'd be just saying, mate, keep going.
Yep.
The marks will come your way.
Oh, the Dogs have got it again here. They're starting to really play some good footy. Fogarty, long inside 50. Campbell gets hands to it this time. He couldn't complete the mark, so they're getting their opportunities, the Dogs. And now it comes out to half-back for Box Hill with Schoenmakers. Kicks a driving ball low down the line. It stays in the field of play and stays in for Cordy to get the handball out to Young. Young gives the handball. Now they run out of room before Johannesson could run away with the footy, and it'll be thrown in on the Justin Timberlake wing.
Gee, if the Dogs could find a bloke who could consistently mark it on the forward line and kick goals, they'd pay Buddy-type money.
Yeah, absolutely. And they should be doing that, Drew. Because they've got so many exciting midfielders. Cordy wins the tap to the front. Hawks have it initially. And then Lin Jong had a look. Comes out to Isles of Box Hill. He gets the handball out to Locke, who goes wide, and he goes too wide. Free kick to the Dogs' defensive wing, City side.
Footscray 6-2, lead Box Hill 4-2. The kick all the way back to fullback, and Talia takes the mark for the Dogs. Grimley aggressively standing the mark. Talia pinpoints the pass to Young just outside the 50. Slow build-up with some foot skills here by the Dogs required. Yeah, he's done it again, and Grant this time takes a mark, but he's way back at half-back. Now the kick by Jared Grant. Half-back to half-forward. Cordy uses his body to get rid of his opponent and leaves a path here for Big Tom, and he spears it in, and the mark's been taken by Jones, Liam Jones. Well, that was good then. Grant took a mark at half-back. Now Jones has taken a mark at full forward. Now, come on, Liam, kick the goal.
Well, what's starting to get a little bit evident now is the Bulldogs' leg speed, isn't it? Jared Grant come up there, but he identified a one-on-one target. Tom Campbell, he's a big guy. You don't know, you just put it in his area or give a contest, but it was great recovery to allow Liam Jones that easy lead up.
He's wide enough out, well outside the corridor. Liam Jones with a right foot drop punt. He has kicked it, and listen to the Bulldogs crowd. Sounds and looks to me like they have the numbers over Box Hill, and the team's got the advantage at the moment. They lead the reigning premiers by 3 goals, 7-2 to 4-2.
Can I ask you a question, Lindsay? As a Bulldog man of 200 games, this is a serious crowd, and this is a serious chance for a bit of history. Do you get a feeling of a bit of emotion? Because the crowd's right into this.
From my side, emotional, probably not as much.
Oh, you missed the go.
I know, I was going to go with you, but I'm being invested at St Kilda, but it is great to look around. You stole my words. There's more probably supporters than they've here today than they've had at most home games.
And they're going forward again. Cordy got it to Goods, to Jong, back to Goods from 60. Goods goes long. It's there. No, it's not. It got touched right on the line by Schoenmakers. They are surging, the Dogs. They are really making this move in the VFL Grand Final. Their lead is 19 points halfway through the second term.
Yep, and their opposition hasn't scored this quarter. They were 4-2 at quarter time, Box Hill, and in 15 minutes they haven't added.
Sorry to deflate you, Whitey. I know you're upset.
Here come the Dogs again. Prismal from centre wing with a kick up towards half forward, but he's turned it over. And Litherland marks the kick, the centering ball at centre half back. And now Box Hill building from the back. And this is a good kick out to centre wing. Mark and play on. Young gets in the way. The kick came from Isles. Isles went in low, wins a free kick. In between wing and half forward. Oh, shocking kick by Sam Isles. Awkward bouncing ball. Punched out of there. And here's an attempt where kick's smothered. Just outside the 50. Woodward has it. Tries to wrestle his way free. Gee, I didn't see an attempt to handball or kick. The umpire says, OK, you're under enough pressure. I think the ball was pinned to you. Give it to me and I'll throw it up.
Now
he's picked the free kick.
There's nothing in that.
It's a grand final. They've just got to get out of the game on those situations. There's nothing free kickers.
Free to Xavier Murphy from 60. Ball off the hands to Rioli. He was going to kick a goal and it was smothered off the boot.
He's going to get a secondary shot, though.
The smother actually went off the shin and went out of bounds on the full. And so Cyril is outside the field of play near the behind post. He kicks it all the way across to the opposite pocket. That was unselfish, and he's found Mark Locke, who's also got a difficult shot for goal. Come on, Cyril. I want you to kick the goal.
That sort of unselfishness isn't going to get you on the news tonight, Cyril.
So Locke, he's just about on the boundary line, 20 metres out. He opens the angle a bit, hooks it back, and misses near side for a minor score. That's their first score this quarter, Box Hill. They're 4-3. It's taken nearly 17 minutes. Footscray 7-3.
Cyril's probably thinking, I don't even know who you are that I just passed it to, but I know not to give it to you next time. He's playing his first ever VFL game today, Cyril Rioli, as he tries to prove his fitness for the grand final next week. Brent Prismal takes the mark. As always, very methodical, very classy player. Here they work it to the wing now, the Dogs. The handball coming over the top towards Jensen, who gets tackled. Had to wait a while before he got possession. The handball that to him floated. And now it'll be thrown up inside the centre square. High throw up. Cordy wins it down, look for Lin Jong, but didn't quite get that far. The Hawks kick it towards half forward, and that's where it breaks down, and Jordan Russell takes the mark for the Dogs. Flares it wide towards Goods, who's getting a lot of the footy, Brett Goods. He goes short to Tom Young, forward of centre now inside the centre square. He kicks the centre half forward, not a good kick. And the mark's been taken by Willsmore, who gives it across to Woodward, up to Rioli. Oh, he got a bad bounce and Johannesson came in. Kicked it back to centre half forward for the Dogs. Redpath up. Couldn't complete the mark. Lays a big tackle though, does Redpath, and results in the Dogs getting back the footy. It goes out wide. Now Prismal round the body to fall forward. Huge pack. Off the pack, Woodward sharked it well for the Hawks. Gave the handball. Oh, under in all sorts of trouble as Hartong got tackled. Umpire let it play on. Dogs come up with it. The flying shot goals. Kick's been smothered there from Honeychurch. Honeychurch goes again. Gets the handball to Dixon. Coming out and getting another opportunity for the Dogs now is Hayes. His left foot kick goes very, very high. Not 15. Ball drops to Jong. Jong gives out the handball. Another opportunity for the Dogs through Hayes, but it misses to the left-hand side.
There's one guy from the Bulldogs who's been given the job at quarter time. Fogarty's gone to Woodward and done a really good job in this second quarter.
That was Will Hayes, who had a couple of shots at goal, son of David Hayes, who trained 4 winners yesterday at Caulfield.
Do you reckon they get the tips, Drew?
Oh, I think Will probably doesn't need to be kicking goals. He's probably rich enough. You know, he's gone to Melbourne Grammar and plenty of money in the family. He would have loved to have kicked that goal in the grand final. And now the ball sails out of bounds on the bounce as it's been rebounded by Box Hill up towards half forward.
And has a twin brother that has also played in this team during the year.
Loudon wins the boundary throw in. Ball comes underfoot. Johannesson rolled over in the tackle, and the ump comes in to throw it up. This is umpire Brent Wallace, son of Plough. It's with brothers of and sons of, plenty of them going around. Loudon wins the hit out again. Hartung grabs it and goes long for goal. He's offline and Russell gets back, takes the mark in defence for the Doggies. And they can rebound from the last line of defence. Mark here is taken by Jensen. Jensen, he's thinking of switching to the city side of the ground. Oh, dangerous kick up the corridor, an absolute howler. And he's given it to Mitch Hallahan right in front, 35 from goal. Oh, that kill you, coach. And
I'm laughing because it is a coach killer, isn't it? The young kid's been doing a good job as a small defender all day, and, you know, obviously he's just got to play within his limitations. I'm not sure what he was looking at there other than Hallahan.
So Hallahan for Box Hill with this set shot right in front. 1 red boot, 1 blue boot. 40 out. And the drop punt is good. It's their first goal in this quarter, and it came from a gift. Took 20 and a half minutes. And Footscray leads 7-4, 46 to Box Hill 5-3, 33. The margin 13 in favour of the Doggies.
Can I ask you, Lindsay, as someone that used to play at half-back in that sort of role, he had 3 players out on the far side all on their own. Is it that he doesn't see them, or is it that he Well, I mean, I don't understand what he did then.
I'm trying to figure out what he's trying to do as well, but
because he can see open players.
You can see open players. The one thing you've got to try to identify coming out of there, it's always harder to look longer first to identify a target that's shorter. So when I was coming out of half-back, I'd always look shorter first because it's easier to identify the longer targets. What he didn't do, he didn't run to his width. He had so much more time and space to run. He could have ran another 10 or 15 metres and then made a certainty. He just tried, I think it was a shank in the end, but it was an unrealistic target that he was trying to hit.
What was your short kick, about 55?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Why not?
Thrown up in the middle after the first bounce wasn't too flash. Tom Campbell gets tackled off the ground by Goods. Gets a little bit too much purchase on it, and Cheney takes the mark for the Box Hill Hawks. He spreads it out to the dock side of the ground. Mark was taken, and the kick down the line by Mirror towards centre-half forward. But Talia smashes it. A long spoil. It actually reached the boundary for a throw-in. Martin Blake.
Cyril on the bench again, Whitey. He did 7 minutes play the first time, then 9 minutes in his second stretch. So that seems to be about the way that it works.
He won't be playing next week, in my opinion.
He has to.
We'll talk about that at half-time and at the end of the game, because Alistair Clarkson spoke about what he was looking to see from Cyril in this game on the Sunday Inquisition today. Thrown in and it's again been locked up. Cyril will be thrown up, 40 out.
He is one of my favourite players. When he came into the box earlier this season, I was sweating. I was nervous. I was like a kid meeting his hero.
From the throw-up, Goods gets a kick, but he was tackled. Good work from Dixon out of the congestion. Gets a kick down the line. It bounces in the field of play and will now be thrown in front of the Hawthorn interchange gates.
I might have been like the bloke in the car ad who was in the company of Glenn McGrath.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like that today, Drew. I was a Hawthorn supporter as a kid, and Collo was one of the back pocket plumbers.
Yeah. Hawthorn Premiership player Andy Collins with us today on grandstand for the VFL Grand Final. Now coach of Williamstown, who unfortunately got knocked out by the Hawks last weekend in controversial circumstances, considering the fact the best player on the field shouldn't have been playing. Thrown up. Run down by Hallahan for the Hawks, who kicks up towards half forward. Ricochets out of the contest and goes out of play off Papadopoulos.
Been a few of those lately. Damien Oliver won the Melbourne Cup. Shouldn't have been righty.
Yeah. No comment.
Here's the throw in at half forward for the Dogs. Loudon taps. Hallahan runs on and runs past it though. Gouged out, comes to Goods. Throws it on the left boot. Hurried kick. Punch by Grant, who got in front towards the boundary line. And a throw in right below us here. On the bench for Box Hill is Cyril Rioli. Just repeating, Brad Sewell was picked originally, didn't play. Ben McAvoy also not playing today. Here's the throw in. Loudon and Campbell. Comes down to Woodward of Box Hill. His hand pass puts his teammate under pressure and he loses it in a good tackle. And here's a tackle. Is that in the back or holding the ball? And the umpires ruled it was a fair tackle, and the tackler, Sam Isles, is going to get the free kick. Isles near the interchange gate on the dockside wing. Kicks it inboard and backwards to Mirror. Captain for Box Hill. Wearing number 1. As captain should. Rioli's wearing number 71, as he shouldn't. The kick's a bit of a mongrel up the middle of the ground by Cheney. Inside the 50. Gee, this crowd's getting involved in the contest. The umpire put the whistle away on that occasion. Grand final umpiring, and he comes in to throw it up. It's 46-33. Footscray lead by 13 points as we approach half-time in the grand final.
Yeah, so up to 25 minutes, and there hasn't been a lot of goals kicked, just the 4. So I can't imagine it being a long quarter. Campbell tried to kick it out of the congestion. They've worked it out to defensive 50, the Dogs. But again, with so many players around the contest, it's hard to get a meaningful disposal, and it'll be thrown up again. Campbell again wins the tap. Again into the congestion. Goods may have been pushed in the back there. The umpire said nope. He'll throw it up once more.
Bulldogs should get a third man up here just to clear the contest. The only way they're going to score from here.
Or a free kick. Oh, I thought Campbell was going to get one there. It goes Hawthorn's way out of the congestion. Going in really hard again was Woodward and Hartung. And a big tackle applied.
All grades of footy. Numbers to the contest. Look at them round us.
Ball gets thrown up again. This time out of the congestion, the Dogs get it through Greenwood up towards the wing, but Mirror comes in and takes the mark for the Hawks as we cross 26 minutes in this second term with the Dogs up by 13 points.
Mirror kicks it back to Cheney. He's going to come across the ground. And that works okay. Mark taken by Brand. And Brand goes long out towards Litherland, who marks on the dockside wing. Chips the ball over. Half-distance pass. Well delivered. Mark taken there by Ross, who played league footy for North Melbourne. Hey, this is pretty clever by Sicily. He beats one or two and kicks a high ball down towards the pocket. And Hallahan takes the mark.
Well protected by Papadopoulos in the air, and the young man playing as a 23rd. That's a unique rule to the VFL. Protected Hallahan very well. Sicily looked quite nice too, moving through traffic then.
Yeah. So this is Mitch Hallahan. Triple dead heat in the Liston Trophy last year. He kicks from 48, and that's not a bad looking kick, and he's through. He's threaded it from wide out and a long way out. His second. And Box Hill go to 6-3-39 within 7 points of Footscray, 7-4-46.
Just making the most of their opportunities, aren't they, when they're going forward. The Bulldogs were relentless in their forward 50 of keeping it at him, but they couldn't score. The last two goals from Hallahan, that was, as you said, there was great protection from his teammate there, and the other one was from one of the Bulldogs' turnovers. So it's nearing on half-time, so I'm pretty sure, knowing Chris Maple and the Bulldogs, they'll just want to put the cue in the rack for the rest of the quarter.
Yeah, the Dogs are really surging there, but Box Hill Hawks have kicked the last 2 goals of the game. At the 28-minute mark now of the second term, Campbell decisively in the ruck, wins it down and gets it almost to centre-half forward. Dogs come up with it. Goods, he kicks long to full forward. Jones is down there. He gets hands to it. It gets knocked away from him, though, and Hallahan picks it up. He gives out the handball to Schoenmakers, who on his non-preferred foot kicks towards the wing. Goods probably could have marked it, decided to spoil instead. He got it to the boundary, but had a real look at that to try and take the mark.
The fastest Cyril's moved today is when he ran to the interchange bench.
You're sounding a bit flat.
Yeah.
I am. I'm really flat. I wanted him to come out and be best on ground and play next week.
Campbell wins the tap down for the Dogs. Spills through the legs of Ling Jong. Hallahan's kick was well smothered by Goods, and it goes out of play with Russell applying good tackle on Isles.
Drew, I just think that for all the Hawthorn supporters, he's moving all right out there, mate. I'd still like to see him just run across the deck. Quite excited there, mate. Don't worry about him next week.
Thrown in. Campbell wins the tap again for the Dogs. Hallahan, though, circling, picks up, gives the handball to Hartong, who feigns the handball and then decides to kick laterally back into the corridor. It was a good option, and Kelly takes the mark for the Hawks.
Found some space here for Sicily, who marks just behind the wing on the City side. They're all running forward. This might suit Cyril. That's a beautiful kick all the way to the 50.
They haven't called Grimley very much. Austin's done a great job on Grimley, and Grimley being the leading goal kicker, or equal leading goal kicker of the VFL this year. I think Austin's been all over him.
Son of Brett Grimley.
It's a long run-up.
Saw Brett Grimley at the race at Warrnambool one year. Former Fitzroy player. Now here's Grimley. Bit of a stutter to start with. 55, he'll need his best kick. Oh, it's close. It's touched on the line, or did it get over? Photo finish. It's a goal. They're within a point. A goal to Grimley. Footscray leads 7-4 to 7-3. The Dogs, have conceded the last 3 goals.
Yeah, by minimal pressure, isn't it? But it just shows you can get the ball in the hands of as Grimley on that occasion. That was a fantastic finish. There's no goal line technology, but it looked like that would have been very, very close.
Well, look, it's the first time that Austin's allowed Grimley off, and a great ball movement by the Hawks leading into that play.
So red time goals here for the Hawks. They've got them right back into this contest.
Look where Cyril's gone, full forward.
Yeah, he's got the whole 50 to himself, so the Dogs won't want it to be going inside 50. They have got it out to the wing, the Dogs, but the Hawks come up with the football. And that is it for the half, though, just as Hartong was about to kick it forward for the Hawks. So we've had a fantastic half of football in front of a fantastic crowd of, I reckon, 25,000 here at the moment at Dockland Stadium in Melbourne. And at the main break in the VFL Grand Final, it is Footscray 7-4-46, leading Box Hill Hawks 7-3-45, with the Hawks kicking the last 3 goals of the half. Goal kickers for Footscray, all singles: Grant, Tutt, Jones, Young, Redpath, Campbell and Fogarty. And for the Hawks, it's 2 each to Hallahan and Sicily, and singles to Grimley, Woodward and Willsmore.
Well, what a game of football. It was looking as though the Bulldogs were pulling away at about the 20-minute mark of that second quarter, but a big finish to the half by the Box Hill Hawks, and a 1-point ball game at half-time after the scores had been level at quarter-time. Can't get much better than that. Andy Collins, what do you reckon?
I'm really enjoying the game. For the first 20 minutes of the second quarter, we were just calling the Western Bulldogs, really praising their ball security, in close and also on the outside. They were leading the uncontested marks and taking the ball inside 50 at a rapid rate. We talked about the dangerous Jones, Redpath. It looked really, really scary. But at the same time, the Hawks hung in there, and it seems to be their trademark. And I think that this game is on. Now, we talked about some of the key players out there, but it's some of the lesser lights that are doing some really good jobs out there. Like Isles are starting to stat up on the outside for the Hawks, right through to Hawthorn's back line. To only allow the 7 goals under that stress, that's a real positive there. And guys like Cheney, Brand, doing good jobs down there. And up in their front half, I think that that's where Hawthorn can still cause the Western Bulldogs some grief, and Grimley got off the leash there.
Lindsay Gilby with us as well.
And what I thought that got the Bulldogs back into they were never out of the contest, but they started dominating in that second quarter, is Fogarty's job on Woodward. Unfortunately, we don't get the stats here, but I think he had it 9 times in that first quarter, Woodward. I think he only probably would have had it 3 or 4 times for that quarter. He was really, really good. Redpath is providing an option along with Jones. They didn't capitalise on their opportunities when they got it inside 50, and on the flip side, the Hawks did.
It's going to be an interesting game in the second half, though, because the midfield, and we talk about Cyril and the impact of Cyril, but they're actually down already to 22 players with Andrews going out, and Cyril's been on reserve game time, and they haven't brought Cyril through the midfield, and that's the only thing I'd be saying, Drew, in regards to Cyril. It'd be nice to see him come through the square once or twice, just to get some extra running and maybe some line running into his
side
screens.
steps.
Yeah, something of that nature, but Goods, Jong, I thought they were on top in regards to the midfield. Even Campbell started to get on top of Loudon. But, they found a way, didn't they, the Hawks? And, probably the Bulldogs' pressure dropped off.
This is half-time in the VFL Grand Final here at Docklands under a closed roof. Big day for Grand Finals. Also the Grand Final in the SANFL. And in the first quarter at about the 15-minute mark, Norwood lead Port Adelaide 4-1-25 to Port 1 behind.
Well, I've been at the damaging end of Norwood's wrath, a couple of years ago in the Sandful. As you know, Drew, I've just come back from 6 years of coaching in the Sandful, and they're an incredibly powerful side. Strong winning culture. Nathan Bassett's been taken over by Ben Warren, and this is there for their 3rd in a row. And everyone thought Norwood were done and dusted this year, and to be leading their arch rival Port Adelaide, that's a great result for them.
Could Nathan Bassett be in the frame for the Crows?
I definitely think so, Drew, and I know, I rate his coaching very highly, and I know that the Essendon Football Club have rated him really highly. Tactically, he's really smart. It's whether he's got the maturity at this particular time to manage a whole AFL club. He'd need some good people around him, but he's definitely got the nous to do it. And have no doubt he's got a great friend also, Mark Rasciuto, over there too.
Yeah, I thought he had a friend already, Mark Rasciuto, but he chopped him off at the knees. Righto, there's another grand final going on, and that's in the Ovens and Murray League this afternoon between Albury and Yarrawonga, and it's early going in the second quarter. Albury lead 5-4-34 to Yarrawonga, 3 goals for 22. Bring you up to date with other scores, not only around the country, but also here. The halftime break in the VFL Grand Final, a 1-point lead to Footscray over Box Hill. Hope you're enjoying it on Grandstand through local radio throughout the state, and we'll be back for the second half shortly. In the meantime, here's the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with Wendy Glamachek. Good afternoon. The Federal Treasurer Joe Hockey says G20 nations are making excellent progress towards lifting global growth. Speaking at the Finance Ministers' meeting in Cairns, Mr Hockey said the goal to boost growth by 2% over 5 years is almost complete, but more work needs to be done. He says member nations have submitted more than 900 initiatives to meet the target, including infrastructure investment and a crackdown on tax evasion.
We are 90% of the way there to meet our 2% growth goal. But I want to emphasise there is much more for us to do, particularly off a lower base. We showed a unanimous resolve to improve the effort.
The Federal Attorney-General has sought to play down the scope of proposed new counter-terrorism laws targeting foreign fighters. George Brandis will introduce legislation into Parliament this week, which will, among other things, make it illegal for people to travel to certain areas without a valid reason. The government also wants to make it easier for police to obtain control orders to monitor Australians who return from foreign conflicts. Senator Brandis has told Sky the new powers would be used sparingly.
What we need to do is have every tool in the legal armoury that is available to us, but it doesn't follow from that we will necessarily be using these laws in every case, because we won't.
Outspoken Palmer United Party Senator Jackie Lambie says that she'll eventually outsmart her party leader. Linda Hunt reports.
The Tasmanian senator says 10 weeks into the job, she hopes she's making a difference. In an interview this morning on the ABC's Insiders program, she linked Sharia law with terrorism. She was also asked about her relationship with Clive Palmer.
It's a good relationship, and he there's no holds down. I get to say whatever I feel, and I guess as I get bigger and better at it, then I'll be able to outsmart Clive Palmer eventually.
Senator Lambie said she's disappointed her party caved on the school kids bonus, which will be scrapped in 2017. She said if she felt strongly enough about an issue, she would cross the floor.
A child in Victoria has been cleared of having the Ebola virus. The 1-year-old recently returned from West Africa. The child was taken to hospital in Frankston on Friday night with diarrhoea and was suspected of having Ebola. The 1-year-old was taken to the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne and placed in isolation. Test results showed that the child did not have the virus. Scotland's First Minister Alex Salmond says he's surprised at the speed with which Britain's main political parties are reneging on commitments to Scotland following a vote against Scottish independence. The BBC's Vicky Young has more.
A detailed timetable has been set out to hand more powers to the Scottish Parliament. The aim is to produce draft laws by the end of January, but David Cameron has muddied the waters. Although he insisted this promise would be honoured, he added that English MPs should be given more say on laws that only apply to England. And these changes must take place in tandem with the settlement for Scotland. It's led to accusations of betrayal from the SNP. Scotland's First Minister Alex Salmond said Scottish devolution was cooked up in desperation and the party leaders were at loggerheads.
Brisbane's Riverwalk has reopened after being destroyed in the 2011 floods, but it could cost ratepayers up to $20 million more than expected. It follows a dispute between the Brisbane City Council and the walkway's contractor. Saskia Edwards has more.
Thousands of people are expected to use the 870-metre-long Riverwalk joining the CBD to New Farm every day. The new structure is wider and is built into the river's bedrock instead of floating like the previous boardwalk. The Lord Mayor, Graham Quirk, says the delayed opening was due to a dispute with contractor John Holland.
There were issues in regard to the river itself, the bedrock, the slope of the river bed.
Councillor Quirk says negotiations are underway with John Holland over the outstanding amount. Saskia Edwards, ABC News, Brisbane.
Australian basketball star Liz Cambridge has been ruled out of the Women's World Championships with an ankle injury. The Australian centre suffered the injury in the team's friendly against the USA on Friday, and scans have revealed that she's ruptured her Achilles tendon. Now to the weather across the capital. Sydney partly cloudy, heading for 20. Melbourne 17.2 at the moment, becoming sunny. A few showers for Brisbane, 21.9. In Perth, 14.5, heading for 22 with heavy rain forecast there. In Adelaide, 23.2 at the moment. In Hobart, it's 20.3 right now. In Canberra, 17 degrees and sunny. And Darwin, 31.7. ABC News.
There's a world of great sport content right at your fingertips with ABC Grandstand Online.
Visit abc.net.au/grandstand.
Get the latest sports results and stories and find out what's coming up with the broadcast schedule. Log on to abc.net.au/grandstand for sports coverage like no other.
Grandstand Sport.
It's on your radio, online, on digital radio and on your mobile. Grandstand AFL.
Grandstand AFL.
Off to Johannesson. He kicks long towards full forward. The ball is there, close to goal, and snapped towards goal by Honeychurch. But right on the line, Grant got a toe to the ball. He couldn't kick it from 30 or 40, so he kicks it from about half a metre. You know what? They haven't won anything since they were elevated to the old VFL in 1925. This comes to Tuck. A kick around the corner, sailed home for a goal. From about 40 metres out, Jason Tuck gets the goal. Well delivered. Mark taken there by Ross, who played league footy for North Melbourne. Hey, this is pretty clever by Sicily. He beats one or two. He kicks a high ball down towards the pocket. And Hallahan takes the mark. Triple dead eat in the Liston Trophy last year. He kicks from 48, and that's not a bad-looking kick, and it's through. He's threaded it from wide out and a long way out.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Local Radio, online and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
Well, I hope the thrill of the game is coming through the broadcast because we're absolutely loving it here at Docklands. The roof is closed. There's a big crowd. There'll be something like 20,000 here for the grand final of the VFL. And it's been absolutely sensational. And at half-time, it is a 1-point lead to Footscray over Box Hill. And they lead 7-4 to 7-3. It's been sensational. Some stats to half-time. Total kicks, Footscray 95 to 92. The hand passes 83 to 62 in favour of the Bulldogs. Turnovers are about even, 19 to 18. I might say these stats aren't coming to us from a computer company where we get our AFL stats. They're coming to us from Jared Cameron, who's doing the stats on ABC television, and he comes from a long line of statisticians. His father, Jack Cameron, was a statistician from the ABC for decades and decades, and Jared is continuing on the tradition. So these will be right. Don't you worry about that. The marks are 39 each to half-time. The free kicks, he's got it at 10 to 5 in favour of Box Hill to the long break. The centre breaks 9 to 7 in favour of Footscray. The hit-outs are 17 to 15 in favour of Footscray, and the inside 50s 27 to 24. And most of those figures are so close together, it doesn't tell us all that much. And of course, you finish up with a scoreboard that's 1 point the difference. So that's how tight this game is. I'll run through some individuals, total possessions to half-time. Trouble is, Jared hasn't got them in order, so I've got to work up and down the page. But Goods has had 21 to the long break. Others for the Bulldogs, Jordan Russell's had 13. Lin Jong, 14 possessions. Sorry, this is such a mishmash. Alex Greenwood has had 12. Howard, 12. And Jared Grant has had 12. For Box Hill, the leading possession winners, Mitch Hallahan's had 16. And then we go down to Alex Woodward, 13. 11 for Mark Locke. 10 for Sam Isles. And I might have missed some, but that's pretty much the blokes in double figures for Box Hill. Upshot is, nothing in it.
You got to press your button.
Yeah, it's on.
There is nothing in the game. Sorry, Drew.
That's all right.
Couldn't hear myself speaking there for a minute.
I couldn't hear you either, but somehow you're right.
Look, definitely I praise the Hawthorn midfield in the first quarter and the Western Bulldog midfield got on top. And we saw the Kelly Goods match up, and definitely Goods got loose on that match up. And you praised Lindsay Fogarty match up on Woodward, but then Hallahan got off the leash. You know, there's 3 Liston medal winners that Hawthorn have got in Hallahan, Woodward and Ben Ross out there. And I mentioned that Sammy Isles started to get a little bit of the outside footy as well that was really missing in the Hawthorn link-up. Definitely, as we mentioned prior to the break, your Bulldog boys were definitely on the outside of Hawthorn and linking up very well, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. And you spoke about that's the most important thing if you can have midfield depth. And most teams now have got a run-with player. If someone is getting shut down, it's usually someone else will get off the chain, and that's the really, really important. As we saw of last night's game, that when Boak, he was on fire in that first half, and then Langford did a real good job on him in the second half, but then it allowed other guys to get out of the loop for Port Adelaide, but they didn't get the result. But you're right, some couple of key matchups. Hallahan kicked 2 late in that last, in just before half time. He was really, really good. Be interesting to see if they keep with the Fogarty tag on Woodward. I would at this stage, and I'd just say to either Lin Jong or Adam Goods, whoever's the other midfielder, just to tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, and there's been some good hits too. It's a physical game out there. And you mentioned the crowd. I think it's one of the biggest VFL Grand Final crowds that they've had for a long time. And, that just shows the support for the VFL and also to these two clubs in particular. I think that Footscray has been starved of success, and a lot of people are hoping for that success to come to the West through the VFL this year. But, I'm really enjoying the contest. I'm not sure which way it's going to go still, Lindsay. I like the outside run of the Bulldogs, but I still like what Hawthorn have been able to do up in their front half when it gets there.
I was giving some of the stats there. I didn't go so far down as to get to Rioli. 5 possessions in half of football. Now, what is the theory with Rioli? Is he being rested so much he's going to play next week, or what?
I think he'll get through, if he can get through today's game, and then have a reasonable hit out either Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday, whenever they choose their main session, or more likely be a Wednesday. If he can have a solid session, maybe do a little bit extra, the old-fashioned fitness test, before the game that will be underway next Saturday, I think you have to play him. This is my opinion. The reason being is because Nick Smith, who's in such good form at the moment, whoever he goes to, he's a sponge. He just soaks them up. Luke Bruce will be hoping.
They're old schoolmates, actually. If they played on each other in a granny, that'd be something.
Yeah, they did year 12 together at Scotch College. I think
we saw that yesterday with Luke Bruce. Didn't have a great prelim.
Yep.
I think it proves Bruce is better when Cyril's there as well, because you can't have Smith go to both of them, obviously.
And the thing about it, if I was to either pick Bruce or Cyril, I would pick Bruce. I think he's more consistent he's been more consistent over the year. His output on goals has been better than Rioli's, even though
50.
Yeah, exactly, and that's fantastic for a small forward, rewarded with All Australian. But Bruce will be a lot better player than with Cyril in the side. I would play him.
But based on form, watching the AFL prelims, and I know we're here at the VFL, but watching the AFL prelims, Sydney are the overwhelming favourite, aren't they? And so if Hawthorn go in with exactly the same matchups, the same side as they did last night, you'd have concerns. So I think we've already forecasted changes. McAvoy really does have to come in for Segler. Would everyone agree with that? They wouldn't have rested McAvoy there. I think that the interesting one is Sewell and whether they can fit him. But in regards to Cyril, you've got to roll the dice sometimes. And, I think all great coaching, I think Alistair realises, that his form as his team's got to improve for a grand final victory against the Sydney Swans. So he'll take that calculated risk and have a sub ready to come on. I think Cyril will start next Saturday, and I reckon they'll have a substitute just in case he's not.
And I think it'll be a fair dice to roll. So I know you sound really disappointed on how he's playing today, even though it's not the output. I think everyone... I personally think a little bit of their selection will be done on the weather. Brad Sewell, if it was raining next week, I'd have Brad Sewell in the team. I really would. And unfortunately, a guy like for me to miss, I don't think there's many matchups for a guy like Taylor Duray, even though he was very, very good last night. But there is always stories of players being really stiff at this time of year of missing a spot in a premiership side. I'm happy for Matthew Suckling to get a crack at it. after missing a few years ago. I'm really, really happy about that. But I think some of the changes, I definitely think McAvoy will come in.
Who's your tip for the second half here, Drew, in the VFL?
I'm going to go Footscray.
Footscray for me.
Well, they're starting with a 1-point advantage, so... And here we go for the second half, and it's Footscray by just 1 point in the grand final. Here's Adam White on grandstand.
And the scores were level at quarter time, and the Dogs by a point at the half, but Box Hill did kick the last 3 goals of the second term. We're underway. Ling Jong got a little bit of a look at it from the clearance, couldn't pick it up. Goods is there, got a little bit tangled, fell on the footy, then got pushed in the back, didn't get a free kick. It'll be thrown up instead, front part of the square for the Dogs.
Interesting that both teams have started with a loose man behind play. Young for the Bulldogs and Cheney for the Hawks.
Thrown up. No one really won it down decisively. The Hawks come up with it though. Isles got a handball out to Lauder. Now they're away with Sicily, who kicks into a very open forward line. Austin's first there for the Dogs. Grabs it, but he's then tackled. He tried to get it away. He couldn't. It'll be thrown up.
That was a fast break. Absolutely ideal for Cyril. He was behind the centre circles. They got it forward. You know what? I reckon he jogged at about 75%. From this stoppage, at centre half forward for Hawthorn. Worked around well by Isles. Kicks it across the ground, and big Luke Loudon takes the mark about 40 metres from goal right in front.
Well, going back on what you were saying on that ball that you would think would have been readily made for Cyril, Young, who was the Bulldogs loose, he was too far up into the contest. If you're a loose there, you've virtually got to be the old-fashioned wicket-keeper. So that ball that just got tumbled in, that you're the first to get back there and help your defenders.
Loudon to put the Hawks in front from 50. Not a bad kick by the big fella. It's a goal. Strikes first blood in the second half. Box Hill 8-3 to 7-4. They lead by 5 points.
True, you mentioned that you were down in Tassie to watch this young man's debut, and he's been very impressive in the VFL this year. And I know everyone's here to see Young, but this young boy must be getting frustrated that he's actually fourth in line. Here we are talking about McAvoy. He walks into most AFL football clubs. He is a very neat footballer, and a 205 centimetre one at that.
And what a beautiful kick it was.
He's a classic example of AFL clubs that'll probably be here today watching him. He might be at another club next year. He's been on Hawthorn's list for about 6 years. From the restart, it does go the Dogs' way, but again, it's Isles for the Hawks who picks it up and kicks it back to the wing. Off hands, Howard a chance for the Dogs, collects the loose footy, handballs over the top to Goods. He'll hammer it long. Inside the 50, Jones is there. He can't mark it, gets to the back. Dixon thought might have been a bit of a chance there, but he is instead forced to tackle. And the ball will be thrown up 30 metres out from the Dogs' goal. Thrown up quickly. In fact, it was Mirror that had the initial knock. Goods knocks it deep into the forward line, but it's mopped up for the Hawks by Cheney, who kicks out towards half-back. No mark, but off the back. Here's some space. And here is Cyril. How's the speed? He gets there and knocks it on intelligently inside the 50. He'll get it back. Come on, Cyril. Go for goal. No, he's going to pass it instead, and it wasn't the right option because Austin came in and knocked it away, and it will be thrown in.
Cyril wasn't going flat out then. That is not as quick as he can go. I reckon in the back of his mind he goes, if I stretch this, I'm in a little bit of strife.
No doubt, Linz. No doubt at all. Oh, he takes it out of the ruck and goes for goal, and it pitches and misses to the left-hand side. He's on the board today, Cyril, with a behind.
Sorry, mate, I never got to that quick. Him running at 75% still quicker than most blokes out there, mate.
Yeah, you make a fair point. Anyway, Sam Darley, he might be able to tell his grandchildren one day, well, I picked up Cyril in a grand final and beat him. Cyril makes a contest of this. The ball comes to the front and is shot through by Ross for the Hawks, and he gets the goal. So it was a goal assist by Cyril, but Ben Ross got the goal. 9-4 to 7-4.
Drew, you know, I know that we're mentioning him. He's probably one of the biggest news stories out here today. But he'd be very happy with those little efforts there. 3 or 4 involvements. Even though Lynn's, I understand that you're saying he's not running at 100%. They'll still need involvement, from his clearances to his intercept there in the kick out. And, Box Hill have got a nice little lead here. It's a good start that they've got going on.
Well, it's now 5 goals in a row for the Hawks, when it looked like the Dogs were running away with the game in the second term, when they kicked 3 of their own in a row. And from the restart, it's kicked down to the congestion by Isles, out towards the wing. Hartung will get there first. Johannesson on the chase and the tackle, but Hartung was able to get it back towards Isles, who kicks it off the ground. He got too much purchase on it. It's gone out of bounds on the full at half forward.
Teed off with a 3.
He did, that's right. Off the deck, didn't put on the tee, and still was able to get the purchase. As the Dogs try and switch here to the defensive goal square. Now out to Talia, who should go next down the line to Austin, who will mark. Prismal, is he next? No, Austin couldn't get off the mark quickly enough. And as a result, Austin goes further towards Grant. Oh, strong mark. Strong mark in front of Cheney. That's what he's capable of doing, Jared Grant. It's a really good mark. Good elevated jump too. As he kicks down towards Redpath, and he dropped the mark there that he should have taken. And it's gone out of play as a result.
Well, no sooner had I tipped Footscray to win, Box Hill went bang, bang, and they lead by 12 points. Boundary throw in, half forward for the Dogs. Little hand pass comes to Jong. He fumbles it. Woodward has it. He's spun round to tackle. Umpire didn't ping him for holding it. Isles, close to the boundary line. The boundary umpire said he was out before he kicked it, and it's going to be a throw in just below us here. Down towards half forward for the Bulldogs. Box Hill 9-4-58. Lead Footscray 7-4-46. At the throw-in, Cordy wins the hit, but a bit of volleyball. The ball's turned over in the middle of the ground. Chance for Box Hill. The ball up towards Loudon. Front edge of the centre square. Tumbles it across towards Hartung. Loudon at his feet. Has it pinched off his feet. Well done by Prismal, who paddles the ball. The Young gets his hand pass back. Here's Darley going for the short pass, the former GWS Giant. Good pick-up by Johannesson. He centres the ball. Young takes the mark. Darley kicks them towards the 50. But an errant kick. Schoenmakers marks in defence for Box Hill.
It's actually like watching the Western Bulldogs AFL team play, the way they break down across half forward. They look really exciting when they move the ball. No, I was going to say stolen, but it's going to be 50 metres. As the Hawks were just casually trying to move it out of defence, and almost getting in the way was Fogarty, who smothered the kick.
Wasn't he
but
allowed
he
to
was
get in the way?
inside the 5-metre radius, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That was weird.
I thought getting in the way was what it was about when the opposition got the ball.
Anyway, the 50-metre penalty to Willsmore. He kicks it inside 50, and a towering mark has been taken by Sicily. He has put in a really good performance, and that was a fantastic mark. He literally beat 3 Footscray defenders.
In between a lot of their bigs, Ace Cordy, Talia, and Russell had a good jump at it. Ace Cordy's just got to go back and get body on him. He's definitely not strong enough in the contest. He's been in the system for a while now.
In comes Sicily from about 40. No, it misses to the near side. And only a behind, so he wasn't able to capitalise on that terrific mark. The Hawks lead is 13 points, 8 minutes played in quarter number 3. Let's see what Jordan Russell-Drew does here on the kick-in.
Yeah, James Sicily, 2 goals, 1. A kid from the Western Jets playing against Footscray. Russell kicks in. Cordy in the middle of the pack, no mark. It comes through. It's taken by Collins. He works the hand pass up for Box Hill, just outside the 50, where it's chopped off. Gee, this boundary umpire, he's called another one out of bounds, which I reckon wasn't 100 to 1 on being out of bounds. It's got to come all the way back, and will be a throw in at half forward for the Bulldogs. 7-4, they trail. Box Hill 9-5. Cordy wins this hit out. Goods gets a touch, but can't give him a possession. Isles hand pass back, comes to Locke. On the turn, a high ball to full forward. Sicily in the middle of the pack again. Hits the ground hard, doesn't come down with the mark. And they're all over him. And it's a stoppage right in front of goal, 20 metres out. And Box Hill leading by 13 points. 9 minutes into the third quarter of the grand final.
And the Dogs just can't buy a goal at the moment. Cordy wins it down for the Dogs. It's in a dangerous spot. The tackles are laid by the Box Hill forwards and they can lock it up. Another throw up just 20 metres out from their goal, the Hawks. To nearly 10 minutes in the third term. Cordy again wins the tap down. They have got numbers here, the Dogs, and they are able to clear it. The high kick comes out towards Campbell. Jones over the top. There's a holding free kick. It'll go Footscray's way. You can hear how many Footscray or Bulldog supporters there are here. Just the Bronx cheer there for the free kick. Campbell at right half back. Not really too many options to go to. So he's forced to go long. Redpath and Jones will be in the pack. Neither could mark. Gets the back high tackle. Free kick going Box Hill's way. It'll be taken by Kelly.
He doesn't mind giving away a free kick, Redpath, as long as it hurts.
The old-fashioned make him earn it.
Yeah. Across the ground goes Kelly. Oh, well done. And the mark's taken by Ross. Played 14 games for North. Played 4 this year for the Hawks and the seniors. Nobody's mucked this up. He won't be back in a hurry. In there is Mirror for Box Hill. And he's been knocked off for holding the ball. And the free kick is going to Joe Hannison. For the Dogs, just forward of the wing. Plenty of distance with the kick. Can they take a mark? Yes is the answer. A terrific mark has been hauled in by Pearce. Daniel Pearce, not to be confused with another Daniel Pearce who plays at AFL level. He came from about 3 deep.
Well, that's a guy, a kid who got drafted about 3 years ago, who probably hasn't come on as much as they would have liked. He's a guy who started his AFL career really, really well. But I think a few injuries and he just hasn't had any form ever since.
He's kicking from about 30 metres, that's all. Pearce for goal. Nails it. Bulldogs first with this third quarter, and they get to within 7 points. It's 59-52 Box Hill.
Lindsay, you always look at the goal origins. This is where it comes. Ben Ross not getting off the mark. I reckon everyone in the stadium, it's one of the pet hates of every football follower. All he had to do was get off the mark 2 to 3 metres further and get that kick over the man on the mark. It is a pet hate.
It's a basic thing in football, and it's the same as ground ball. I reckon out of 18 AFL clubs, one of the KPIs is ground ball. You wouldn't think so, but it's the difference between winning contests and not getting back off the man on the mark is a fundamental basic of football.
Well, that goal snaps a run of 5 unanswered goals from the Hawks. Can the Dogs capitalise again? Lin Jong got tackled, got out some sort of handball. Christian Howard kicks a rush ball inside the 50. Pearce is there again, knocks it on. The Dogs are a definite chance here, although Honeychurch got tackled and overwhelmed and lost the football. And the Hawks come up with it. Short pass comes out to Murphy. Murphy chips down the line. It's okay. And the mark's taken by Ross. Let's make sure he gets off the mark this time. He does. Chips it nicely into the path of Willsmore, who marks. He plays on. He kicks long to full forward. Bit of holding going on. Yep, there'll be a free kick to the Hawks. One arm grabbed. And that's just a basic free kick to Sam Grimley.
His opponent was holding on Grimley.
He was. Austin giving away the free kick. I'm not sure why you should be booing, Dogs fans. That's a free kick every day of the week. He opens the angle, goes the snap, misses. Sam Grimley are behind to the Hawks. So the Dogs are down by 8 points. Box Hill 9-6, the Dogs 8-4. 13 minutes played in the third term.
Jordan Russell kicks in, gets it outside the 50, but he has set it up for the opposition, and nice mark. Has been taken about 55 metres from goal. Thump back in to the top of the goal square. Disciplined kick. The pitch is on turf. And then a tackle laid by Young. Gets nothing for it. The umpire sprints in to throw it up close to goal. Rioli standing back behind the pack, away from goal from this contest. Palm down into the path of Ross, who tried to beat the park, took him on, got nailed, holding the ball.
He was desperately trying to make up for that last goal against him. but tried too hard. Prismal did well. Although the kick's not great, Isles is marked for the Hawks at left half forward. He's too far out to score. He's going to centre it up. Rioli stretches and marks at the 50. He's thinking of giving it off here. He does give it off. I'm not sure on that option. Should be holding the ball. No trip. Free kick to Willsmore at the 50. So Rioli gave it to him running past. And the tackle started okay, but dragged a little low. The tackle coming from Hayes. So now we know that Willsmore's a long kick. He should be able to make the distance from here, even though he's kicking from 52 metres at left half forward.
Rioli was never going to have a shot from a long way out, was he?
Absolutely not. Willsmore, he is going for the distance. He is going for the goal. It floats a little bit out to the right. There's a fight for it right on the line, but off hands it's gone through for a behind. So Box Hill moves along to 9-7-61. Footscray 8-4-52. We've played 15 minutes in the third term. You're sounding downcast about Cyril, Drew.
Oh, well, if my attention's on too much on Rioli, I apologise, but I reckon Cyril might have got 5,000 of this crowd here on his own here today to see how he'd go. And he looks so keen to give it off and be involved in assists rather than taking them on and running around the man on the mark and kicking a goal. Yeah, I'm a bit frustrated, I suppose. Jong marks for the Dogs, close to the boundary line at half-back. Brings the ball in short, and the mark's taken by Prismal. He switches the play across to Austin. Austin gets it outside the 50 on the other side of the ground. Johannesson marks. He comes down the line and well delivered. And the mark's been taken by Mitch Jensen. In between half-back and wing for the Dogs. 61 plays 52, a 9-point lead to Box Hill. Up to a contest. And the mark's been taken by Redpath. Down the line he goes. Oh, it's close to out of bounds on the full. Mark a millimetre inside the line. And the mark's been taken by Honeychurch.
Your man was on the job there, Drew, the boundary umpire.
Honeychurch squares it up to centre half forward with a beautiful kick, and Grant takes the mark. Now, Mitch Honeychurch, that was a fantastic kick. I saw him kick a goal with his first kick in league football for the Western Bulldogs. He hasn't had a great day here today, but that assist was perfect.
It was a dangerous kick if it doesn't come off, isn't it? That's you really want to be certain that they'd find a free, and they end up doing that with Jared Grant.
Grant, he's kicked 1 goal, 2 and 1 out of bounds. This from 50. It's a floater. It's a mung. And it's away to the right for a behind.
I can think of a few other words to describe that kick as well. Blakey?
Well, Cyril off again, boys. He's only played 10 minutes of the 16 this quarter. Got Andrew Russell, the conditioning guru from Hawthorn, behind me. Says they'll have a look at him at three-quarter time.
Liveland kicks to himself and then goes long for the Hawks, out towards the City wing. Long kick, but Austin's marked for Footscray. And he'll be able to put the Dogs back into attack. Getting not a lot of movement from the Dogs forward, so he's going lateral instead. And leaving it up to someone else to work out what to do with it as they try to switch out to the open side. Now with Jensen. And he goes very wide, but it's not too bad. It'll work out okay here. Tutt takes it. He's off and running. He kicks inside the 50. Dixon there. Spoil came from Schoenmakers, but it was over the shoulder. And Dixon will take the free kick for the Dogs. He's had a year ruined really by injury, but we know him to be a good goal kicker at AFL level. And these are the ones, Lindsay and Andy, that he really needs to be kicking for his team. 45 out, right of centre.
Yeah, he has had a poor year for injury-wise. He's a really, really good player, Tory Dixon. If he's a very good one-on-one player, if he's isolated, has kicked 6 in a game before.
To the Coventry end, Tory Dixon comes in from 45. Nice kick, nice goal. That's 2 in a row to the Dogs. Box Hill 9-7-61, Footscray 9-5-59, 19 minutes played, third term here at Docklands.
And he doesn't need many opportunities, Tory Dixon. That's the reason why he's in the team, is it is a goal kicker. He only wants a few opportunities per game. I reckon that the Footscray Football Club and the VFL, some of their players do need a lift. We haven't called Dixon, we haven't called Honeychurch very often, and these are the players that have been really good in their VFL team this year. And to the credit of them in regards to this third quarter, after an initial start, they've come out and retaliated, haven't they?
You're being very kind, Andy. If they haven't been called very often, doesn't necessarily mean to say they haven't had a lot of possessions. Bounce in the middle. Gee, we've got a game in the grand final. Cordy wins the hit out, but the whistle's gone. There was a hold, and the free kick's going the Dogs' way to be taken by Joe Hannison. Steers it low and hard, short of half forward. Didn't quite get to the target. There's another whistle. And another free kick here to the Bulldogs. And be taken by Fogarty. Just came off the interchange. Kick by Fogarty. Deep out towards the pocket. Oh, yes, the mark has been taken by Jones in the middle of the pack. Liam Jones set himself. There were players coming from the side and behind, everywhere, all round him. But he plucked the mark.
On that occasion, Fogarty did really, really well. Just get the ball into your forwards and give them an opportunity. If he held that ball for another 1 or 2 seconds, I guarantee you Liam Jones wouldn't have had that mark. He would have been set upon from all the Hawks defenders.
Can he be the first multiple for the Dogs? He kicks it and celebrates. That is a goal, and the Bulldogs are in front. 10-5 to 9-7. They lead by 4 points at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter.
Every time I see Jones play, it reminds me of the Port Power full forward Jay Schultz. And I coached young Jay at Coburg when he was aligned to Richmond and couldn't get into that forward line with Richo. And there was all these down things about what he couldn't do all the time. But one of the things that Jay could do was to take a mark inside 50, and that's a rare talent. That is a rare talent to take a contested mark inside 50. And I reckon that this kid will get another opportunity in another club and really prosper.
He's taken 2 terrific marks in this game and has kicked 2 goals. And the Dogs go forward again. Goods out of the centre. Kicks up towards half forward. No mark taken. Tuts there. He picks it up. He's tackled by Cyril. And he's back on the field. Also Ben Ross. And will be thrown up. I like the umpiring here. Throwing up really quickly. Comes out the Dogs' way, although the handball wasn't great from Prisbel. Got knocked down. Back towards, in the middle of the pack, is Howard. He's tackled. And he'll be thrown up back inside the centre square.
Well, he's up around the ball now, Cyril, so they might step it up just before three-quarter time.
Hartong's immediately tackled after he gained possession, and he'll be thrown up again, still inside the centre square. Some of the other scores around at the moment in the SANFL Grand Final, Norwood by 10 points over Port Adelaide at the moment. I'll give you some more shortly as Grant gets the handball out to Goods, kicks towards centre half forward. Cordy's, he is behind. He could force some sort of contest, but outnumbered in the end, and the Box Hill Hawks can run away through the city wing.
And this is a great run, and taken down by Box Hill inside the 50, marking contest, hits the turf, cleared by Young of the Bulldogs, gets his hand pass out. Oh, they've turned it over. Hallahan picks up, fires out a hand pass, dodge and weave, and a poor kick, a centering ball. Chopped off by the Dogs, didn't go the required distance to Greenwood, and he hesitated and has been bowled over in the tackle. The umpire gives him a little bit of credit and says, well, I'm not going to knock you off for that. Give it to me, I'm going to throw it up. It's close to goal here. Box Hill in attack. A trail by just a kick. Goods gets the hand pass out, and the ball cleared out of defence by Talia, close to the boundary line. Tackles laid on the city side, long way from us, and I think the ball's gone out of play, and we're going to have a boundary throw-in. One of the scores we can give you is in the grand final of the Peninsula League, where Frankston YCW are leading Mornington 46-29.
The Bulldogs are doing a bit better here, Drew. They're in front at the moment by 4 points over the Hawks, and they've got it at half-back with Jordan Russell, who takes a good mark. Precise kick. Oh, no, he's turned it over again. Cheney's mark for the Hawks. He runs on. He kicks inside the 50. Talia with a spoil for the Dogs. Young picks up. He's well tackled, and it will be thrown up. 40 metres out from Box Hill's goal. Thrown up again very quickly. Coming out with it, though, is Brett Goods. He gets tackled, loses it. Hartong close on the boundary for the Hawks. He centres it. Cyril's there. He's up. He couldn't quite take the mark. Should be a goal, and he's in the square. To the Hawks. And it's been kicked by Sam Collins. And it was Rioli making the contest. It dropped into the square. Collins, right place, right time, puts the Hawks back in front. Box Hill 10-7-67, Footscray 10-5-65.
I'd like to claim him as a relative, but he is none of mine. But this kid is a great footy story. His dad coached, a legendary coach of the Eastern Footy League, Don Vale. He's the current Box Hill Hawks VFL Reserves development coach. And he flips everywhere, this kid. He can go anywhere on a field, forward, back, and now as the ruckman.
Comments from Andy Collins, Hawthorn Premiership player. Gee, what a game. 67-65. Box Hill lead by 2 points. The defending champions in the VFL. Rioli gets it from the stoppage in the middle. Somehow gouges a hand pass forward, but it has been turned over. Gathered here by the Dogs, and a terrific tackle laid by Rioli. Dispossesses goods, but the ball comes back to Johannesson. And he kicks up towards half forward. Off hands it comes to Redpath. Hand pass back to Grant. Standing start, a high ball. Oh, a bit of a chance. Dixon had a chance to run onto it. It's 20 metres from goal. Tackles laid. Massive pressure game of football. And the umpire comes up for the stoppage. Box Hill 10-7 lead Footscray 10-5. In that Ovens and Murray Grand Final, Albury leading Yarrawonga 9-6-60 to 7-6-48.
Lin Jong got out of handball. Redpath with the snap. Just misses. They were celebrating, and it just missed to the right-hand side. Almost went over the right-hand goalpost. And it is a lead now of 1 point to Box Hill, but they move it quick. Down the city side from the kick in. Hartung is off to the races with 2 bounces. Now with 3. Runs to the 50. Runs a long way. Goes for it and has got it! He has got it! A VFL Grand Final goal to remember. Down the city wing. That was sensational. And Box Hill out by 7 points, time on in the third term. Once he got it, no one was catching him.
What a great goal at a VFL Grand Final. Adam, that is one of the great Grand Final. Great call, young man. Mate, this kid is a talent, isn't he? And one of the great, freaky, athletic young boys that are coming in to the AFL. You know, I mentioned prior to it, you know, they're wrapped. Hawthorn have got him to have Billy Hartung on their list.
A phenomenal goal. 73-66, Box Hill lead. 27 played third quarter. In the middle, it comes Box Hill's way. Hallahan scrambles a kick up towards the 50. Tackle laid, umpire circles having a good look. Young has been an excellent player for Footscray. Hand pass comes out the back, taken away by Greenwood. And here's kicked close to the boundary line. Out it goes on the city side of the ground, and we're going to have a throw in. So it'll go right down to the wire. Footscray looking to break a long drought. Gee whiz, their seniors won a flag in 1954. The Western Bulldogs reserves have won a few flags along the way, but this would be a massive breakthrough for the red, white and blue here. And they have it on centre wing. Ball comes in and kick deep inside the 50. Schoenmakers gets a toe to the ball. Has he got it out? No, he hasn't. Chance here for Jones. And it's knocked to the boundary line by Litherland. It was deliberate. The only thing he wanted was the boundary line, but he gets away with it, and it'll be a throw-in.
Dogs trying to get a late goal before three-quarter time. Box Hill up by 7 points. Campbell with the tap down. Lin John takes it. He's tackled to the turf, and the umpire will have to throw it up. 30 metres out from the Dogs' goal. It's thrown up. Campbell taps it down cleverly. And the handball wasn't great from the Dogs, and as a result, it's Hawks that can clear out towards the wing, and they find the boundary right in front of us on the Docks wing. Nearly 29 minutes played in the third term. With the Hawks up by 7 points. Boundary umpire throws it in. Good throw in too. One to the front, and it's a Dogs ball to Ling Jong. He got tackled by Woodward, was able to at least get out a handball to Greenwood, who goes and links up by hand as they work it forward, the Dogs. High kick, Cordy's in the pack, but again he's caught behind, couldn't take it. Honeychurch gets a handball out to Redpath, tried to break clear, couldn't, got a handball out. It's only 20 metres out from the Dogs' goal. Johannesson, good tackle, turn it over, tucks in the square, got a foot to it, didn't quite get it through for a goal. And great defensive work there from Heatherly to be able to rush it through behind. The Hawks leading 6 points.
Oh, gee, it's a good game of football. A kick in, and they found a bit of space here, the Hawks, and I think a few players just looking to just use up a bit of time and take a deep breath. And the kick high and long up short of centre wing. Front of the pack, Sicily couldn't come down with the mark. Multiple tackles laid. There's 3 Bulldogs players in there laying the tackle, so the ball's not going anywhere, and the umpire will throw it up.
That other score we didn't give, Drew, is Albury 9-6-60, half-time, leading Yarrawonga 7-6-48.
Great time of the year. Grand final day. Kick up the ground here by Hallahan into a pack on centre wing. Siren for three-quarter time in the VFL Grand Final. There's a kick the difference. Box Hill trying to go back-to-back in the VFL. They lead by 1 goal. It's 11-7, 73 to Footscray, 10-7, 67. For Box Hill, a couple of multiple goal kickers. Hallahan and Sicily have 2 goals each, and they've spread the rest of them. A bit like the senior team. They don't mind who kicks them as long as they're kicked. Singles for Collins, Grimley, Woodward, Hartung, Willsmore, Ross and Loudon. And for the Bulldogs, well, they've spread it even better. There's only 1 multiple goal kicker. Liam Jones has kicked 2. Singles for Grant, Tutt, Pearce, Dixon, Young, down the page, Redpath, Campbell and Fogarty. So at three-quarter time, just 1 straight kick the difference, 11-7 to 10-7 with Box Hill in front. Andy Collins, and with us is Lindsay Gilby.
Yeah, well, it's been a fantastic game of footy. We spoke about the crowd. I think the game's really matched it. It's been a really, really good game. Just having a look down there just before three-quarter time, Sam Miles came off with about 5 to 10 minutes to go, and he looks like he's got his right thigh heavily strapped. And when he came back onto the ground, he was hobbling a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what decision they make with Rioli here at three-quarter time.
Well, one of the other observations, though, is the transition footy of both teams. You know, we talked about Redpath snapshot at goal, and then Adams just one of the great VFL calls of Hartung running around the outer wing. You know, the transition, the speed of transition footy in modern footy, and the ability for offence to defence, of players have got to go from offence to defence. I thought it was one of the features of this game so far, mate.
Sort of running goal that maybe Cyril might have been capable of, but Hartung, he's absolutely put a stamp on this game with one of the highlights of the season. 1 goal the lead to Box Hill at three-quarter time. Another half hour will decide the VFL premiers for 2014. You're with Grandstand VFL, ABC Local Radio and Grandstand Digital.
We the people hand in hand.
Following the huge success of Macca's Top 100 comes Well I Love It.
With the big hat is buying.
A hand-picked collection. Some of Macca's favourites, your favourites, a celebration of singers and songwriters. Well, I Love It. 2 CD set. Available now from ABC shops, centres, shop online and good music retailers.
Grandstand AFL.
Grandstand AFL.
Worked around well by Isles. Kicks it across the ground, and big Luke Loudon takes the mark about 40 metres from goal right in front. Loudon to put the Hawks in front from 50. Not a bad kick by the big fella. It's a goal for the Dogs just forward of the wing. Plenty of distance with the kick. And they take a mark. Yes is the answer. A terrific mark has been hauled in by Pearce. It's kicking from about 30 metres, that's all. Pearce for goal. Nails it.
Tutt takes it, he's off and running, he kicks inside the 50, Dixon there, spoil came from Schoenmakers, but it was over the shoulder. And Dixon will take the free kick for the Dogs. Tory Dixon comes in from 45, nice kick, nice goal. That's 2 in a row to the Dogs. Down the city side from the kick in, Hartung is off to the races with 2 bounces, now with 3, runs to the 50, runs a long way, goes for it, and has got it! He has got it! A VFL Grand Final goal to remember.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Local Radio, online and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
Three-quarter time here in the VFL Grand Final before Lindsay Gilbey and Andy Collins with more comments on what has been a crackerjack Grand Final. There's breaking news down on the boundary line. Martin Blake.
Drew, Cyril Rioli's done for the day. As I said before, Andrew Russell, the conditioning man from Hawthorn, told me before that they'd be checking him out at three-quarter time. They did a bit of Ticky Touchwood through the glass here. Actually, Andrew was talking to one of the physios on the telephone through the glass, and then the woman, the physio, was asking Cyril how he felt. Look, they're happy with how he went. They're absolutely happy with everything the way it's gone, and this is totally to plan. But he's finished.
Okay, I thought he might play half a game, add it all up. Did he quite get to half a game? Doesn't matter, it's only semantics, but he did have a run. It's his first run since, about round 15, when he just got these chronic hammies and he just doesn't seem to be able to get through them.
Well, the interesting thing about it, and I said just before Rioli, what would they do with him at three-quarter time? Obviously, they've subbed him. They've lost Andrews. Isles looks really, really proppy the way he's going about things. I'm sure deep down that Marco Bello, the coach of the Box Hill Hawks, if this costs them by 1 or 2 goals, I'm pretty sure he'll be upset.
And this was the major issue why Weird Williamstown had a go at the rules and the regulators of the VFL, because the VFL origins of the VFA, it's one of the oldest competitions in Australia, and there needs to be rules and regulations to keep the integrity of the VFL competition. This is not an AFL reserves competition. This is a VFL competition. And, when we're seeing Cyril, and we saw him go into the midfield, Lindsay, you called that. And he did have his best 10 minutes. Now, I reckon Clarko's sitting back and going, fantastic. He's up and about. I'm going to be playing him next week. But it does break the integrity of the VFL.
And speaking of that, I remember back in 2000, it was my very first year. I spent a lot of time at Werribee. And we were 2 or 3 games clear on top of the ladder. Got all the way through to the grand final. Hawthorn that week lost the prelim final. I think it was against Richmond. It wasn't against Richmond because they haven't played in the grand final. They lost the prelim. And that week they loaded up their the Box Hill Hawks team to play against Werribee. We only had 6 or 7 listed players at that stage. And they had 21 of the 22 were favourites all year. They've come out and smacked us by 13 goals in the grand final.
And if you're Chris Maple, you'd be excited that you hear Cyril's coming off, wouldn't you?
Oh, most definitely. Because that takes away a good player to go to him.
Yep, and Andrews, and they're down to 21, and that'd be part of the message. Come on, run over the top of them, boys. Keep running. And definitely, Lindsay, we saw the outside speed of the Dogs early on that really got the Hawks. It'll be an interesting last quarter.
That sure will. With Luke Andrews off injured in the first quarter. Rioli finished for the day, gone at three-quarter time. Loudon wins the hit out in the middle to start the last quarter. Woodward gets in there low, but he's right in the bullseye of the ground. It's not coming out, and the umpire will start again. Leading the possessions, Brett Goods, 27 to three-quarter time. Grant, 16. And for Box Hill, Hallahan's had 21 and Niles, 19. Thrown up again. Woodward tries to burst out once more, and the umpire will start for a third time. 11-7 to 10-7. Box Hill leading by a goal. They just can't get out of the middle of the ground. What a contest. Woodward's in there again. He's absolutely worked himself to a frazzle and moved the ball about 1 metre.
It is interesting how the cream comes to the top, doesn't it, with the AFL-listed players really playing well, ones with a lot of experience in this grand final. Goods, though, he's been pinged for holding the football. So a free kick to the Hawks. And Hartung's got it again. He runs forward of centre. Kicks long inside the 50. Good spoil from Young there for the Dogs. He then fights on for it, ground level. Paddles it in front of himself, then loses it. Ross comes up with it. Handball's back to Hartung. He's immediately tackled. Woodward's there. He's tackled. It'll be thrown up 45 metres out from Box Hill's goal in the corridor. Thrown up. Loudon is a giant of a lad.
but Campbell gets it down. Oh, Dixon gets a high tackle just at the back edge of the centre square, and he'll take a free kick against Isles. Dixon goes to a lead up on the City wing. Honeychurch pokes it over the top, not well directed. He made it a contest for Johannesson, who gathers at ground level. Little hand pass to Jared Grant. A standing start, a high ball. Cordy in the middle of two. It's punched. It goes towards the goal of the Bulldogs, but also towards the boundary line and out. And we'll have a throw in about 55 metres from goal. Bulldogs in attack, and they trail by 6 points. 2 minutes into the last quarter.
It's going to go right down to the wire, you think. As Andy and Lindsay saying, with the Hawks down 2 on the bench, it might play a part in this last term. Campbell probably won the tap down. Ross there for the Hawks. It's out some sort of handball to Woodward, who's immediately tackled. And it'll now be thrown up again, this time right half forward for the Dogs. They're kicking to the Lockett end, but it's where all their supporters are. So much red, white and blue behind the goals at the Lockett end. And it's locked up again for another throw-up.
You think they've had a good day at the football?
Well, if they win, they'll have a good day at the football. I think they're too nervous to be enjoying it at the moment. It was good there in the second too when they got on a bit of a tear. This time it gets out of the congestion, but close to the boundary, and it'll be thrown in between wing and half forward for the Dogs. It's just great to see so many people at a VFL Grand Final.
Mm-hmm. Lots of stoppages to start this last quarter. So much on the line. It's won by Campbell for the Dogs. Hartung lays a tackle. And it's just stoppage after stoppage after stoppage. Who's going to get a break out of this? Can you notice anything particularly the way they're setting up here, lads? Have a look off the ball. Oh, Johannesson tried to burst his... John tried to burst his way through the pack, took him on and lost because he's been knocked off for holding the ball.
Drew, I want to mention about the observation of Lindsay making on Isles. He's out there just hobbling around in the Box Hill Hawks forward line. He's just playing game time now, just to give him an extra rotation, isn't he?
Locke has the kick for Box Hill, and it's a beauty. He gets it up long. The kick now to full forward, and Sicily takes an excellent mark, 35 metres from goal. And this bloke is shining on the forward line for Box Hill.
Well, the thing about Young then, he just relied on athleticism to get the job done. You've got to check your opponent, get a little bit of body on him to make him earn it, because Sicily, as we've seen a number of times today, he's very, very good above his head. He only needs a clear run, and he's going to catch it every single time.
Well, the name sounds like he should come from the boot tip of Italy, and he should have dark, swarthy complexion, but he's the redhead. And he's going for goal from in front, 40 out, and he kicks the goal. And he's tied up the game at 11-7 each. No, he hasn't. Taken them to a 2-goal lead. It's 12-7 to 10-7.
He's been the outstanding marking forward on either side today, probably playing that traditional third. It seems to be a Sicily-Young sort of match-up, and Young's really struggled with him aerially, and it's a real credit to the kid. First year out of TAC, and we've just on the back of the TAC Grand Final. He's superseding, my Grand Final performance of this kid, that I wouldn't have thought that he would be this lively based on this year's form.
In the middle we go, so the Dogs now need to get their act together, and it is Hallahan that moves it forward for the Hawks. It was a bumbling footy though, and it's mopped up by Howard, who gives the handball out to Darley, who goes wide to the wing. That'll come out okay as well with Johannesson taking it. Gives the handball to Cordy. Back to Johannesson. Puts it in the path of Tutt, who marks and plays on, running back with the flight. He's 70 out. He kicks the full forward. Jones up. Couldn't mark from behind. And the ball spills out towards the boundary and goes out. And again, Jones caught behind and got himself to the contest. But he wasn't in front. Ball gets thrown in. 30 metres out from the Dogs' goal. Cordy wins it, but straight to Hallahan, who clears the danger zone for the Hawks. Out towards the wing. Dogs have got the numerical advantage here, and they'll win it out. And Young takes it for the Dogs.
He goes for a half-distance pass. It's a poor option, and Woodward chips in and takes the mark for Box Hill at half-back. Short over the top, he goes to his skipper, Mirror. Kick by Mirror. Will he be holding the cup up shortly? That's terrific. Hallahan takes the mark, sweeps the hand pass in, and a chance for Box Hill as the shot for goal comes from 45 out right in front. That is a goal, and Ross has kicked it, and they now lead by 3 goals.
Well, I'm looking down, and it's easy from where we're sitting in the box, but Christian Howard wasn't thinking then about his football. He ran straight past Hallahan. He was never going to influence the contest from 70 metres away to pick up nobody. Hallahan's end up taking a long, uncontested mark from a ball about 60 metres away, and that was far too easy.
It was a quality kick by Woodward to Hallahan, wasn't it? And
Howard
Ross
made it easy for him.
Yeah, and Ross's run off the half-back line. Quality finish.
3 goals. Box Hill's lead at the 7-minute mark of the final term. It's starting to get to a dangerous level for the Dogs. John wins it out. He gets the handball. Now they'll be able to build with Honeychurch kicking inside the 50 this time. Jones in front, couldn't mark. Crumbs though to Dixon. 45 out, wheels onto the right. It's close. It's there. That's better, Dogs. Gee, they needed that. They cut the margin to 2 goals. Box Hill 13-7. The Bulldogs 11-7, 7 played in the final term.
And that's what Tory can do if he's given the opportunity. And footy isn't rocket science, really. If you can get it out of the centre square, get it long to your forwards, you get a contest. Hopefully your smalls can get to work at their feet, as Dixon did on that occasion, with a great finish close to the boundary from about 40-45.
Tory Dixon getting his 2nd goal for the grand final. 85-73. 2-goal lead to Box Hill. Oh, palm down in the middle to the path of John. He bursts out of the centre, kicks to full forward. Redpath makes a contest. It comes to Liam Jones on the turn. He snaps another one. 2 in 30 seconds to the Dogs. Jones has got 3. And this game is just on a knife's edge.
True, it's just a cracker of a game to watch, isn't it? Like, we're talking about a quality game of football between two top VFL teams, but out of the middle, Jong, you know, that was outstanding kick, wasn't it, to Jones? Good secondary effort too by the big fella. Good finish. 3 apiece to Jones and Sicily, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Dixon with 2. Some of the big name forwards in this game today. Cordy jumps into the opposing ruckman. Is able to win it down. It comes out the Dogs' way again. The high kick coming in from Greenwood towards full forward. It gets away from Redpath, who tackles extremely well. Holding the ball, yes. Free kick to the Footscray. That they're playing that well at the moment. I don't think the fans, no matter who we call them. But a terrific tackle on Schoenmakers.
Well, we've seen the last 3 clearances. Just get it in deep, 20 metres out from your goal. We've got 2 contests, the last one. That was a fantastic chase down from Redpath on that occasion.
The big man, he's in the left forward pocket. He's only going to be 20 metres out from goal. Will he open the angle or will he go the drop punt? He's coming in. He's going the drop punt. Can he thread it? Oh, he can. We're all locked up in the grand final at 85 apiece at the 10-minute mark.
Well, Lindsay, they're 3 of the quickest goals you'll see in any level of football. That's 3 in about 3 minutes. A little bit of a match-up in regards to they took Cordy into the ruck, and I know Campbell's coming back in for this centre bounce, but Grimley was in there for the Box Hill Hawks, and that's the first time he's come into the centre bounces. Great aggression and great tackle, you know, by Redpath in that front half, and a great finish.
85 apiece. 10.5 minutes played in the last quarter. Fantastic grand final for the VFL. The bounce. Grimley on the ball. He jumped early. Campbell beats him. Oh, it's taken here by Kelly. He's bowled over in a hurry. And the umpire says, no prior opportunity for you. He's going to throw it up. Grimley and Campbell again. Campbell wins, gets it going the Dogs' way. Down to Goods, hurried kick. Inside the 50. Rode by John. Hand pass wide to Dixon, but the whistle's gone. And it's going to be a free kick here, coming back to Kyle Cheney of the Box Hill Hawks against Liam Jones, just as the Bulldogs were looking to charge towards goal and put themselves in front. Cheney runs away from the man on the mark, kicks over half-back flank. There's no mark. And comes through to Loudon. Gets his hand pass back to Shinemakers. Kick smothered by Campbell. Comes back to Shinemakers. He's nearly knocked off twice in a minute for holding it. Tut had a good claim on that. And the ball's gone out of play, and it'll be a boundary throw-in. Martin Blake.
I want to ask Andy Collins what happens if there's a draw. There's a lot of excitement down here.
Pretty sure it'll be 5 minutes each way.
They're surging the Dogs. Grant overruns it. Darley comes in. He's tackled. It will be thrown up.
I have an idea the timekeeper just keeps his hand off the button.
Yeah,
and they wait for the next score.
Yep. It's like golden point, I think it is.
Thrown up. Campbell wins it down for the Dogs. Comes out to Grant, close to the boundary. Handball's in front of himself. Can't keep it in. Could see what he was trying to do. Sometimes you never know what he's trying to do, but he knew what he was trying to do there, but he couldn't keep it in.
It's the perfect stadium to do it. You couldn't do it at the MCG with the breeze, but with the indoor stadium you can do it, can't you?
Thrown into play. Campbell again wins it down for the Dogs. Oh, gee, Goods went in hard. No free kick. The high contact. It'll be thrown up. Left half forward for the Dogs, 70 out from goal.
What a grand final. All tied up midway through the last quarter. Woodward bursts through the pack, but goes without the ball. It comes the Dogs' way. Inside the 50. Redpath lays another great tackle. This time he doesn't win a free kick. The umpire's going to throw it up. It's in front of goals and it's about 30 metres out. Throws it up quickly. Campbell wins the hit out. Bursting through his John. Paddles it out in front of himself. Out towards the pocket. He's nailed. Gets the hand pass away. Oh, Litherland, you're in a lot of bother, son. The ball goes over the boundary line and we're going to get a boundary throw in about 10 metres around from the behind post.
And this is where they'll be dangerous. If they can get Tom Campbell's in the ruck, I think he'll have the body strength over Loudon.
Here comes the throw-in. Long one, back into the corridor. Campbell does win the hit out. Comes to Mirror, gets a hand pass away. Hartung has a kick smothered. It's back in a pack. Who's going to win it? Hand pass. Comes out to Honeychurch. He goes away from goal. To Tutt. Hurried kick by Tutt, and the mark has been taken up here by Howard and Christian Howard. I don't know whether that went 15 metres, but the mark's been paid.
He's a left footer, so he might have to run around. I know he hasn't got that much of a right foot, so I'm pretty sure, because he's a good kicker, I think he'll go for the drop punt.
Gee, I reckon that kick went about 13 metres, but Howard to put the Dogs in front. And he has! What a shot from wide out. Footscray, 14-7. Box Hill, 13-7. 14 and a half minutes played last quarter.
One of those little opportunistic missed kicks that falls in your arms, but you still got to be able to finish him. It was a tough angle, and he turned the ball beautifully. You know, just looking at the kick on the replay, we've got the replay in the little box here. That is a quality finish. Very difficult angle as you call it, Lindsay, and you rate his skills highly, don't you?
Yeah, even though he made a few blues early in the game, that's why he was drafted at such a high pick.
This is starting to get a real classic game here at Docklands. The crowd's gone up at 23,816.
And as you say, Whitey, we've done plenty of AFL games here on a Sunday afternoon with way less than that.
Yeah, we have, absolutely. They fight for it inside the centre square. Ling Jong working hard. It's not coming out, or eventually it does, and it goes Box Hill's way. Kick out of the congestion, going back to the flight. Darley couldn't quite take the mark, but still able to get a handball to Young. Now Christian Howard, he's got a bit of confidence up. He kicks the centre half forward. Dixon high, but not with the football. And Box Hill can clear. It comes out to Sicily at right half back.
He has a lazy bounce. He better be careful. He gets up to the wing and kicks it inside the 50. There's a race on for the ball. Papadopoulos is there. He runs out of ground and has taken over the boundary line, and we have a throw-in. Players heaving in some big breaths. By gee, it's been played at a frenetic pace from start to finish. Plenty of bruises handed out as well. Box Hill in attack. Loudon wins in ruck. Ball comes down to Ross, but he can't keep it alive as it's back out of bounds. Martin Blake.
Box Hill, another one down just at the moment. Billy Hartung, left thigh injury, just getting some treatment. Can't go at the moment.
It looks like Isles is packed up for the day too, is he?
Isles is just sitting there. He's been on and off, just struggling.
And this ball comes to Hallahan, who dribbles the ball towards the goal line. Did it get there? No. It has been rushed through for a behind. Talia got there. He had about a third of a metre to spare, and he got there in time to rush it over for a point. And it's Footscray 14-7, Box Hill 13 goals 8. The margin back to 5 points.
Good goal umpiring as well. The Dogs out towards the city side. Campbell couldn't mark off the pack. The Dogs are away and running. The kick up towards half forward. Dixon's marked it. He plays on 50 out. He goes to Honeychurch. Can't quite get there. Terrific defensive work there from Heatherly to be able to get the spoil in at the top of the square. The Dogs went from one end to the other in about 5 seconds.
So we had a rush behind at both ends. The pressure on both teams is absolutely sensational here in this game. Litherland to take the kick in. Kicks to himself and he's cornered. Has to get rid of it in a hurry from the back pocket. Gets it outside the 50. Oh, Jordan Russell, the veteran, leaps and takes a great mark for the Bulldogs. He kicks down towards the pocket. Oh, fantastic play by Russell.
And I backed this kid in. He's a very long kick for his size.
Jason Tutt with the shot for goal, wide out, about 48 metres.
He's usually a very good finisher.
Kicked 1 goal in the second quarter today. He gets to 48. Oh, this looks good off the boot. What a kick. Oh, it's just across the face. It was home for all money. It swung late and just got away to the right for a minor score. 14-9 to 13 goals 8. And we played 18 minutes in the last quarter.
Short kick into Murphy. Our friends in the box next door that are having the picnic are getting very excited, Drew. As it goes out to half-back. Good mark taken there by Kelly. They work it quickly. The Hawks up towards half-forward. Younglow with a spoil against Sicily. Sicily works on well, though. Taps it in front of himself once and twice. Gathers left foot. Oh, can't quite get enough purchase on it. It'll fall a little bit short. In the square mark! Taken it for the Hawks. 15 metres out from goal, directly in front, but Sicily was enormous there.
He's really stood up on the stage, hasn't he, young Sicily? You know, he's been incredibly lively, kept his feet in the contest when the Bulldog boys were falling down around him. Not good enough in regards to Young's effort there, Lindsay, either.
Collins has already kicked 1. This for his second. Oh, he's missed it. He's missed it. He made contact from about 20 out straight in front. He's missed to the left. And the Dogs fans breathe a sigh of relief. They're up by 6 points. 19 played, final turn.
That's such a shocking kick. Nearly missed the ball. Russell brings it in to the back pocket. The mark is dropped, but recovered in time. And across the ground comes to Darley. Further across to Young in the back pocket for the Dogs. Over the top he goes. And he gets it to the 50. John kicks down the line. Redpath with a long lead. All the way from the forward line to mark at half-back flank. 6 points the margin in favour of Footscray. 20 minutes played last quarter. Goes for the short pass. And Tutt marks right below us here behind the wing. Kick by Jason Tutt. Up towards half-forward. Liam Jones a chance. Punch away from him. Comes to Litherland at the back. Hand pass back into a pack. Hurried kick over the wing. It pitches. Young lays a tackle. The split second. The Bulldogs player got the ball. The Box Hill player got the ball. That was Tim O'Brien. Taken to ground. A stoppage. Thrown up quickly by the umpire. They've done that quickly all day. Comes to O'Brien again. He's buried in Cordy's tackle. And the umpy will throw it up once more.
Now we tick into time on 20 minutes and 30 seconds played in this final term with the Dogs by 6 points. Last term, no high tackle. I thought there might have been a free kick to the Hawks. Dogs work it back to the wing. Cheney, though, there for Box Hill. Gives the handball to Hallahan. Runs on. He'll kick a high ball into the pocket. Austin, yeah, good mark, Austin. Going back with the flight in the back pocket for the Dogs. He takes the mark. You can tell players are starting to get nervous. Austin, a hike. He wants Campbell. He's got 2 to beat. Cheney up there as well. Couldn't mark Cheney, but he's able to win the football. Handballs to Hallahan. He's immediately tackled. He will be thrown up. 70 metres around from the Hawks goal now, just inside the boundary.
in the Sandfield Grand Final. Norwood made a flying start, but Port Adelaide close now. A minute into the third quarter, 50-43. Norwood by just 7 points. And this ball is smothered off the boot and goes out of bounds pretty much where the stoppage happened. Martin Blake.
Casualty ward down here, Drew. Box Hill have got 3 players who can't come on, and they've got 2 interchange players, one of whom is Hartung, who's in real trouble. So
Tuck bursts away from the stoppage. He was going to go forward, but he wheels backwards. Gets the hand pass back to Johannesson. He's cornered near the boundary line. Draws a couple. Gets it to Tuck. Tuck takes them on. Well done, son. Kicks down the line over the wing. Jones in the middle of the pack. Can't take the mark. Mirror for Box Hill. Gets the hand pass away. And they're going to work themselves out of it. The kick out wide, and Woodward in the shaved head, the winner of the Liston Trophy this year, takes the mark for Box Hill just behind the wing.
He's going to go down the line to a contest. Loudon is there and he marks it. Right half forward. He is too far out to score. He'll be about 70 out. Footscray by 6 points. Loudon wanting to play on, but told no, you can't do that. He's a left footer. He wheels onto his left. He's just going to pop it up towards full forward. Oh, strong dogs mark. Well played, Liam Jones. Going down to help out in defence. But now, where's he going to kick it? He's going to come the dot side. He wants Redpath, who couldn't mark. Good spoil over the back, but Goods with the crumbs for the Dogs. Takes the bounce. Inboard kick was good to Cordy. Inboard handball is okay. He works the 1-2, Cordy. Now they go into the middle. It's Williams. He'll go long. He'll go deep. Dixon the only chance. Had to beat 2. Couldn't do so. They all fall over. Dixon gets to his feet. Can't get there first. The Hawks with the numbers. Good handball. Good sharing. They get out of trouble.
Cheney gets it over there heavily. And it's cleared from defensive 50 up towards centre wing. Clears a pack. Comes to Young of the Bulldogs. Does a U-turn and picks out Goods. He has been magnificent, Brett Goods. Has a bounce. Oh, his kick is smothered though as he's trying to centre it up towards the goal square. Spills back to Cordy. Caught by Litherland and rolled over the boundary line. He's holding the ball. It's not out of bounds. He wins the free kick. Litherland for the tackle. At 93-87, Footscray lead by 6 points. 24 played last quarter.
Box Hill out on their legs. The Dogs look to have the running power, but they're just holding on, showing great character, Box Hill. The kick up towards Hallahan. Strong mark in the pack. He wasn't the biggest man in the pack, but he took the grab. Forward of the wing. He's looking for options. We're up to 24 minutes now in the final term. He's going long. Inside the 50, Jordan Russell. Good mark for the Dogs. He's done some important things. He spreads it wide towards Johannesson. We know he's quick. He plays on, cuts inboard, kicks to the middle. They're out here, the Dogs. Oh, they went the wrong way. Goods was all alone. Instead, they went wide to Tutt, who goes even wider to Jones. 70 out. Goes to full forward. Redpath couldn't mark. Grant's there. Got tackled without it. No free kick. Redpath again. Grant to the square. No, it's been rushed through.
It's a handy point.
Terrific work from Litherland. The Dogs looked like they were going to kick a goal. Absolute certainties. They did it.
And Box Hill comes straight up the ground. Hallahan marks. Back edge of the centre square. His kick. Oh, it's been cut off by Talia for the Dogs. Right in front of us here. He slows things up. Squares the ball across half-back. And the mark's been taken by Pearce. Pearce goes further back to Jordan Russell. Russell, who had 8 years at Carlton and 1 year at Collingwood for a total of 125 AFL games. He's been terrific. He tossed the coin with the 2 co-captains both out injured. And he delivers a good pass here, and the mark's taken by Hayes, the son of horse trainer David Hayes. Up the line he goes on the city side of the ground. Oh, what was he doing? It's
a lack of composure, though. I mean, it's a 26-minute mark of a grand final, and the pressure is just starting to take its toll, and a couple of decisions have been made out in the field.
Campbell turned it over badly, but Footscray lead 94-87. It's 2 scores for Box Hill to win the game and defend their title.
Yeah, 26 played under the roof here at Docklands. Footscray, can they hold on? Can they win a premiership?
They're yelling out the chant, Footscray.
That sounds sensational. Campbell wins the tap down, but it is a Box Hill ball. Hallinan's been enormous. He kicks the centre half forward. Tarley with the spoil. It's now out to the 50. They're fighting for it. Both teams so desperate. Johannesson out of the congestion. Terrific kick. It's been marked by Hayes, who's away. He kicks to Jones, who marks Dixon. They've got to go to Dixon. Go to Dixon. He's all alone. 20 out. Jones says no. He wants to do it himself. And he does it himself. Jones has kicked the goal from 50. He's kicked his fourth. And the Dogs might be home. They are standing and cheering at the Lockett end. It's the Footscray end. And it is just a sea of red, white and blue.
I think it was young Hayes that hit up Jones there, and that's a clever little kick. And mate, I know you were yelling Dixon, but mate, the big bloke took the composure with the ball and heads up.
He had to kick the goal, didn't he? If he didn't kick the goal, Tory Dixon had every right to go back and have it going. But it's great to back himself in that situation.
27 and a half minutes played. Is there time left for Box Hill? John runs onto it, gets the hand pass to Grant from deep inside the centre square. He kicks long and unguarded goal square, but it's away to the left and is now paddled over the boundary line, out of bounds in the forward pocket for Footscray, who lead 100-87 as we approach the 28-minute mark. Be a groundbreaking premiership for Footscray if they can hang on and win. It's tapped to the back, hand pass by Honeychurch, over the top to Dixon. He snaps from 40, misses to the left-hand side, but it's all going Bulldogs' way. And they're getting scores and they're playing the game on their forward line, making it hard for Box Hill, who are out on their feet.
Oh, Grant was sensational there to knock it away from Hartung from the kick in. And it's gone out of play as we get to 28 and a half minutes. In the final quarter, Footscray by 14 points, finishing all over the top of the Box Hill Hawks. Ball gets thrown in. One down by Campbell. And there is, I thought there might have been a high tackle, but there wasn't. The umpire will come in and call for it. Nearly 29 minutes played now in the final term. Box Hill get the clearance. They kick it, or they tap it up towards the wing, and that's where they run out of room and it'll be thrown in again. On the wing, City side. 29 minutes played in the final term. Footscray by 14 points.
Martin Blake will get out and amongst them at full time. We're going to wrap this up at 5 o'clock. It's only 9 minutes away. Then we're going to have an AFL Grand Final preview. John breaks from the stoppage, kicks long to full forward. Jones again marks in front of goal. And Liam Jones should kick his fifth and drag Footscray over the line.
How good has Ling Jong been in this last quarter? He's been very, very good all day, but his ability in the contest to not only win it, but to get it out and chain it out with his hands and put his runners in great positions, even though he took the game on then. Kicking's not his forte when it comes to skill, but he's been absolutely super in the contest today.
He has. And Liam Jones, he's had his critics over 5 years with the Western Bulldogs in 66 games, but he could be winning a VFL premiership right here. 5 goals straight. Yes, sir. It's all over. Footscray 16-11-107. Box Hill 13-9-87. The margin 20.
A terrific last quarter, isn't it, by the Footscray Footy Club. Chris Maple's done a great job with this group too, Lindsay, you know, to deal with the fringe players of an AFL list, right, merging those with those VFL players. And I think Jones has stood up. You know, a 5-goal return in any grand final is a good return.
Okay, back in the middle. We've ticked over 30 minutes in the final term. Campbell wins it down. Lin Jong. Oh, the Dogs are out again. Running away with it. Fogarty goes long. Jones is there again, but it goes through for a behind. The margin 21 points. We've played nearly 31 minutes in this final term. Box Hill still trying. They're trying to go right down the middle. Long kick. Inside the centre square it goes. Cordy up in the pack. Hallahan has been so good for the Hawks. Couldn't take it. Dogs come up with it. They go defensive, but they've still got the footy, although Austin's kick was smothered by Schoenmakers. Lin Jong again gets the handball out. Now with Michael Talia. Defensive handball to Young, who pokes it over the top to Ling Jong, who marks and gets late contact. But it is going to be 50. Yes, he's marched forward. So against Sicily, Ling Jong has it.
I think when the siren goes, it looks like the Dogs are going to get it. I know the security said no one on the ground after the game, but don't be surprised if you get a massive rush of Bulldog supporters from the Lockett end.
You got some of your friends down there, mate?
No, none of my friends, but it's been a while for a lot of those people in the cheer squad.
Yeah.
Well done, Andy. I mean, Lin Jong, he'd be up over 30 possessions. He's had an enormous last quarter, and he had 20 to three-quarter time.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the medal.
Lin Jong kicking to the Lockett end. The kick is close. It's missing to the left. Bit of an anticlimax. 22 points the lead to Footscray.
That's actually his first score for the day. A behind. But he's been signed onto the list late in the season and has warranted the signature. Litherland goes in short. Time out for Box Hill. Brand from the back pocket. Kicks over half-back flank. Being played on Bulldogs' forward line at the moment. Redpath is there. But he's been beaten to it this time by Heatherly. Kicks up towards half-forward. Box Hill, free kick. Too far out to score. O'Brien takes it. Penetrates the 50. Siren! A groundbreaking premiership for Footscray. Well done to them. 16-13, 109 to Box Hill, 13-9, 87. The pride of the West have saluted here today under the roof at Docklands. Congratulations to Chris Maple, a team put together by Ben Graham, the former Cat, the former NFL star, who came back and has started this setup from nothing. It's their first season in the VFL as Footscray. They play their game at the Western Oval, and they've come to the big stage here today in front of a massive crowd of 23,816. And it's a flag to Footscray. Don't worry about the Western Bulldogs. The red, white and blue are on fire. Let's listen to the song as they celebrate. Is out there with Lin Jong. Blakey.
Lin, that looked like it was pretty hard work, but the first year for Footscray in the VFL competition, you've won the flag. How's that feel?
It just feels amazing. I don't think at the start of the season anyone thought we could make it this far, and it's a credit to all the boys and just how well we gelled together, and it's just a great feeling, something I'll always remember.
Liam Jones, he's had his critics, jumped up and kicked those two big goals at the end. That was huge for you.
Right, we rate him internally. I love the way he plays. And I guess, he just came in those clutch moments just like he did last week, and he was perfect, I guess.
Has it been difficult being the first year?
It has been a bit, but not too much. I mean, you would have thought, we would be pretty flat with playing twos and stuff, but, everyone just loves playing with each other. I can't tell you how it feels like, just the way we're going about it, and,
The crowd influence today, 23,000 people here. That must have helped you in that last quarter.
Oh, it was amazing. Like, the supporters, it's not just today, they've been through there for the whole year, and I guess, it really came through for us, I guess, all that support.
Thanks, Lynn. We'll see if we get Brett Goods for you, boys.
Okay, Martin Blake right out there in the middle, and that's one of the great things about the VFL. You get access, you get out onto the ground and in amongst it. Final score, Footscray 16-13, 109 to Box Hill, 13-9, 87. Well, Box Hill, they had too many injuries. They finished short of men on the bench. lack of rotations, and Footscray finished all over the top.
Yeah, they did, and I'm just so happy for Chris Maple, which you spoke about before, Andy, is they do have to deal with a lot. They virtually get told from Macca, this is what you're going to get every single week. But for his ability, and they put some guys in for surgery, I think, so they missed out on it. They could have had an even stronger list today. But I'm absolutely wrapped for him. We've liaised a little bit during the year to see how he's gone about things, and it's thoroughly deserved, because he lives up in Ballarat, travels down to Footscray every single day. He's thoroughly deserved the grand final victory.
Definitely in regards to what they've been able to achieve in their first year in the VFL. It's the first year as a standalone entity as well. And that holds for their future in regards to the Western Bulldogs and the Footscray Footy Club. To the Hawks, they were really brave, and in the way they defended their premiership today to get to the grand final, and they just ran out of legs, as you mentioned, and a few rotations. Going with Cyril Rioli into this game, was that risk versus he was probably the only fresh player sitting on their bench in the last 10-15 minutes.
And lots of the Bulldogs senior players are out there, Matty Boyd, and so on. They're all out there. And the two co-captains who are both injured and couldn't play here today, they're out there as well.
I think Blakey's got Liam Jones down on the boundary.
Yeah, Liam Jones, 2 big goals there at the end. That must be a great feeling.
It was a good feeling. I was a bit nervous there in the third quarter and then started the last, but I knew we had a fair bit of run in the legs, and it's just good to get the win. It feels a bit surreal still.
What's it been like? First year of the club, you get a flag.
It's been amazing. I think everyone said, it's been a great feeling around the club. The boys really gel well together, and it's like a real big family, and we just love playing with each other, and it paid off today.
Your own situation, Liam, it's been a slow burn for you. You've had your critics and you've had your ups and downs. I'm not sure what your status is for next year, but this is a good advertisement for you as a player, isn't it?
It's just good. I was just focusing on this VFL final series, and then just going to let that other stuff play out itself. There's nothing else that I can control. So
you're out of contract, aren't you?
Yep.
So have you had any interest?
I'm not sure. Like I said, I'll just focus on today, and then I'll deal with that stuff. I'll manage the deals with that sort of stuff. So,
talk us through the second last goal. We thought that was probably the seal, and Tory Dixon was on, and we were in the box. A few of the boys were calling for you to give it up. So you had to kick it, didn't you?
I wanted to kick it to him, and then I thought, he's leading back, and then he's going to come back at me, and then there's no one on the mark, so I thought I'd just put it through.
Congratulations, Liam. Enjoy it.
He was absolutely fantastic, Liam Jones. He kicked 5 goals straight for the game, and he kicked 3 in the last quarter when the game was up for grabs. I mean, Footscray led by 6 points at three-quarter time, and it was massive the last quarter. They went on and kicked 6 goals to 2 in the last term to run out winners by, 22 points. 22 points at the end. 16-13, 109 to Box Hill, 13-9, 87. Well, the crowd waited for the second siren before they just have inundated the ground here. But the area for the presentation has been roped off here in front of us. And I think most of the crowd of 23,816 have stayed for the presentations. It has been absolutely huge. We're going to stay on here. We were going to wrap this up at 5 o'clock, but we're going to be able to get more interviews and atmosphere and the presentation of the Premiership Cup to Footscray, such as the atmosphere here. It's just fantastic. You don't see this too often. Grand final time is huge. Shortly we're going to be welcoming listeners. Tasmania and Northern Territory are going to be joining us, and we'll take you through to 5:30 when we'll have a grand final, an AFL grand final preview. So when football's big in Melbourne, you're going to get it right here on Grandstand. The atmosphere is sensational. I mean, the crowd is very largely Footscray fans. There's so much red, white and blue. We can go down to the presentation
of the grand final. To do so, please welcome State League and Talent Manager John Hook, the 2014 Norm Goss medalist. From the Footscray Bulldogs, number 44, Brett Goods.
Another medal for the Goods family. Premiership and best on in a grand final.
It's a fair cabinet, Mum will have them in Ballarat, isn't it?
So the younger brother of Adam Goods, of course, who was a twice Brownlow medalist, a couple of times premiership player, could be for the third time next week. Here's Brett Goods.
Thank you very much. Such a great honour to play with these boys. To win a flag with you blokes is something I'll remember for the rest of my life. It's been a tough year, but we've grinded it out, and commiserations to the Hawks boys and the Box Hill boys. We always knew it was going to be a 4-quarter grind to win this game, and we eventually got the chocolates. Big thank you to the supporters out there, for the support all throughout the year. It's been incredible. To have over 20,000 here today has been a great effort, and hopefully we can celebrate with you guys in the coming days. Thank you very much.
Well said by Brett Goods. We'll just pause here because we're about to welcome listeners from other parts of the country who are going to join this coverage of the VFL Grand Final. If you can just stand by, Marco Bello, the coach of Box Hill, is up making a speech. And welcome listeners in Tasmania and Northern Territory to Docklands in Melbourne, where we've just seen the conclusion of the VFL Grand Final, and Footscray, yes, Footscray have won the premiership against the Box Hill Hawks, who were going for their second successive premiership, but Footscray got the chocolates 16-13, 109 to Box Hill, 13 goals, 9, 87. The margin at the end was 22 points after a nip and tuck game. Scores were level at quarter time. Footscray led by a point at half time. They led by 6 points at 3/4 time, but ran away with it in the last quarter as Box Hill tied. They were short on numbers. They lacked rotations at the end and weren't able to hold off Footscray, who finished full of running. Cyril Rioli played here today for Box Hill, but he left the game at 3/4 time, no doubt under instructions from Alistair Clarkson to keep him fresh for the Grand Final, the AFL Grand Final next Saturday. They went in without Brad Sewell, who was named today for Box Hill, but he didn't play. Ben McAvoy didn't play, and Cyril Rioli played a total of about half the game, or maybe less. The premiership medallions being presented to the Footscray players, starting off with number 1, Jared Grant.
Number 15, Jason Tutt.
Jason Tutt kicked a couple of goals here today. Jared Grant was wayward early, kicked 1 goal, 3.
Number 19, Liam Jones.
What a game Liam Jones played. He kicked 5 goals straight, including 3 in the last quarter when the Bulldogs really took charge.
And on a good defender in Sean Makers as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, Lindsay.
Number 20, Daniel Pearce.
Daniel Pearce from the Oakley Chargers. Not to be confused with the one who went west from Port Adelaide, the Fremantle.
Number 22, Mitch Honeychurch.
Didn't hit the scoreboard today, Mitch Honeychurch.
It is one of those of so many terrific youngsters that the Dogs have got.
Tory Dixon.
Who played his part, especially in the last quarter. He finished the goal in the third quarter, and he was really, really good in that last quarter.
Yeah, Dixon a couple of
Number
goals.
30, Christian Howard.
Again, made some mistakes early, which we spoke about, but he got better as the game went on. Lost a couple of contests, but his use in the last quarter was great.
Tom Young.
It's just a procession of players that we've seen play so many times for the Bulldogs, the Western Bulldogs.
Number 32, Michael
They've
Tarr.
got depth.
Yeah, they've got depth, and
They've got top end talent.
This guy's only played two or three games this year, Michael Taylor.
Yeah, 3 for Talia, 4 this year for Tom Young.
Sam Darley.
Sam Darley, ex-GWS Giants.
But that's one of the challenges for the Western Bulldogs going forward, is to get top-end talent, because their whole squad is even. They rotate, a lot of players through their squad, but it's very even, isn't it?
Number 39.
Might get a chance to talk about that, Andy and Lindsay, about what the Dogs do when it comes to the trade time as Johannesson comes up.
Number 43, Jack Redpath.
Their leading goal kicker for the year. He's added 2 to his 34 coming into the grand final.
It's the contest he made in the forward line, and even out on the wing.
Number 44
was very, very, very good.
The medalist, best on ground, He's won the club best and fairest this year and best on in the grand final. You can't get better than that in a premiership.
Tom Campbell.
And the thing with Goods as well is he played very well in grand finals for North Ballarat.
I think he won 2 or 3 up there as well.
And any other club, he's probably walking into AFL midfielders. But for some reason, the Western Bulldogs chose not to play him this year.
And to me, I thought this guy was the best on the ground. Lin Jong, his ability in the contest was fantastic.
He had 29 disposals, Lin John. Absolutely superb.
Mark Austin had a terrific game on Grimley and kept the leading VFL forward, to minimal returns, 1 goal.
So Jong had 29. Goods got the medal with 30. There was not much in it.
No. He scored now. Such a big man.
Brent Prismal.
I'm so wrapped for Brent Prismal.
Yeah.
His AFL career ruined by injury.
Had his second baby during the week as well.
He's such a classy player.
Number 56.
Wish he had more of a chance at AFL level, but he's got a VFL premiership.
Will Hayes, son of David Hayes. I hope David's here today rather than go to the races at some godforsaken place on a Sunday. He's got to be here to watch his son play in a premiership.
He had good moments. He had good moments on the field, Will.
And this guy was a massive contributor for them to get back in the game.
Yeah.
Young Fogarty. He was very good on Woodwood after quarter time.
Number 59, Mitch Jensen.
Jensen did a few good things as well.
Yep, speed.
Number 65, the captain, Jordan Russell.
And he was excellent in that first quarter. He was consistent during the day. His decisions by foot out of the goal square were average at time, but he did a really good role for the team.
And just some really important marks, crucial times.
And here's the coach, Chris Maple coming up. Jordan Russell was captain today, but the co-captains, Lucas Markovic and Nick Lower, both injured, couldn't play today. Here's Chris Maple.
Firstly, I'd just like to thank Marco and the Box Hill boys. Fantastic game today, and played really well. I thought you had us there at 3/4 time. I was getting pretty worried, but well done. I'd like to thank the Western Bulldogs board, Peter Gordon and Simon Garlick in particular, for getting us to have our own standalone side at VFL level, and it's been fantastic for our development of our players, and I'm hoping that we're going to see some benefits out of today's game. To Brendan McCartney and our other AFL coaches, thank you very much for all your help all year. Couldn't do it without you. To Ben Graham, Ben and I had to set the side up, and you've done a fantastic job, Big Benny, well done. And his little offsider, Lewis, good job. To my coaches, Ash Hansen, Chad Jones, Stewie Edge, Brian Cordy, all our top-up players, VFL top-up players, you've been fantastic all year, particularly our 2 captains, Lucas Markovic and Nick Lower, who unfortunately couldn't play today. To Conrad Taylor, Werribee Motor Group, and Stuart Cofield at Geelong Travel, thank you for your sponsorship. To my family, thank you for letting me live the dream. Thank you.
And the dream came true today.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of the 2014 Peter Jackson VFL Premiership Cup. To the premiers, the Footscray Bulldogs.
Well, the Western Bulldogs in the AFL finished 14th in an 18-team competition, but Footscray in the VFL, at the end of the home and away, they were second on the ladder. They fought their way through. They beat Williamstown in the qualifying final, beat Port Melbourne in the preliminary final, and they've gone on to beat the reigning premiers, Box Hill, in the grand final. A marvellous moment for Footscray and the western suburbs of Melbourne. Ben Graham got a mention there. Yes, it's Ben Graham, the punter who went to the NFL in America and came back, could have done anything, but he helped set up a side that won the premiership in the first year. Remarkable.
I used to spend a lot of time in my off-season having a punt with Ben and his mansion, that probably half the size of this oval in Canterbury. I used to do the gardens on it and all that kind of stuff. We become reasonable mates in that time and still catch up with him frequently. But just a lovely bloke, and for his expertise, and for what he's experienced in his NFL time, in what is probably the most followed sport on the planet along with soccer, he's done an amazing job building a team from scratch.
Lindsay Gilby there, words that I reckon you must be feeling it, even though Gilb's now your assistant coaching down with St Kilda, and you've got plenty of work to do there in the off-season to get them up from the bottom of the ladder. But having spent all those years in the red, white and blue, it must be great for you today.
Yeah, it is good to look down, and it's reward for the supporters as well. I've never seen as many Bulldog supporters like this in a while. I remember we played in a prelim back in 2006 against Collingwood in an elimination final, and there was 91,000 there this year, that game, and I think 60 of them were Bulldog supporters. They usually come out of the closet this time of year.
Martin Blake down in amongst it.
Drew, they're just having a photo here. I'm just going to grab Brett Goods, the medalist. Brett, congratulations, a couple of medals there. That's always nice.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. I've got my teammates to thank for that. Great win, and for the effort they put in today and in the last 3-4 weeks. It's been huge, mate. We've been in some pretty close games, and we knew that we were going to have to grind out teams. There's going to be full-court effort, so, mate, today was no exception.
And it's turned into a pretty big week for the Goods family.
Yeah, it has, mate. Brother Jake won a flag, beat it undefeated. That
was at Stawell, yeah?
Yeah, at Stawell Swifts, beat Laharam undefeated today, getting the job done, and hopefully next week the Swans can too, and make a trifecta.
Any contact from the big brother this morning or yesterday?
Yeah, always got contact from the boys, just wishing me luck, and look, pressure's on him now to get the third one.
What do you think of his chances?
Well, I think they're pretty good after watching the footy, but I think they know it's going to be a tough grind too. Hawthorn are a good team, and this one's going to have to play full-quarter game too.
The crowd's just about breaking through the barriers here. Drew, 23,000 here today. You would have noticed that in the last quarter. They gave you an extra leg, I reckon.
Yeah, mate, the crowd's been amazing, especially for the last, all year pretty much, down at Footscray, getting the support we've gotten down there, and then, to have 20,000 plus here today, it's a great effort. So
I better let you go. We're getting swamped here, Drew. Good on you, Goodsy.
Blakey, your challenge is to see if you can get Brent Prisma. It'll be great to have a chat to Pris, who, as Lindsay said, has been part of the welfare team at the Western Bulldogs and one of the most popular men down at the Western Bulldogs since he's got there.
Yeah, you're right. And it was out of him and Brett Goods to get that final mature age rookie spot. They actually swapped roles in the end.
Yeah, they did.
Goods was their welfare manager. He got on the list, and Pris will end up taking over the welfare. It's going to be hard for Blakey.
Oh, look at this.
The
crowd's broken ranks here. They've gone straight through the ropes, and the team making its way to the dressing room, or whether they're going to do a lap of honour, I'm not sure. But most of the 20,000 are still here, and they're all around the team. It's incredible scenes here at the end of the VFL Grand Final, won by Footscray over Box Hill. There's a couple of other games getting pretty close to full time over in the Sandford 3/4 time, and Norwood by just 7 points over Port Adelaide. It's 11-8-74 to 10-10-70, so that looks like going right down to the wire. We've also got a score from the Grand Final down the Peninsula League, and it's Frankston YCW by 7 points over Mornington. It is 8-16-64 to 8-9-57 in the last quarter, so that's going right to the wire. And we've also got a grand final at the Ovens and Murray League between Albury and Yarrawonga, and that's 9 points the difference. In the last quarter at the 20-minute mark, Albury 13-13-91 to Yarrawonga 12-11-83, so grand finals are huge.
23,000 people here at the VFL. You mentioned the SANFL. They'll have 30 to 40,000 people at state leagues, and it just shows the importance of the game of football in the Australian culture, Drew, that it's really important that we have great leagues underneath the AFL, and importance of state leagues in particular. You know, the Waffle, the Sandford, the VFL, the Tassie League, the NEFL, really important for the infrastructure of footy. And to have 23,000 people come out, the majority of Western Bulldogs, Footscray fans out here today, I thought it was a great spectacle, you know, for VFL State League footy. It was a great spectacle as a game, mate. You know, as a game, it was a beauty to watch, and hopefully it was a really good one to listen to for the people that were listening to us today. But, you know, to Goods, you know, I think he's an outstanding footballer, arguably one of the most outstanding midfielders in the VFL, as you would have seen, Lindsay, in your role this year. At 30 years of age, maybe like any other Goods, he's probably just starting to reach his peak. He's probably got another 4 or 5 years in him yet. Be interesting to see if he could get up to the Sydney Swans and play with his brother.
Well, he's probably dropped 15 to 20 kilos from when he was at North Ballarat, and the club said, "Listen, if you get fit, we'll do the pre-season, and with no guarantees, we're a chance to rookie you." And he came out, and he won their time trial. You wouldn't believe it, but he was their best runner before Stuart Camry come along this year, which says volumes of how far he's become, or how far he's come as a footballer.
And Lindsay, you mentioned Ling Jong, and I love that story too. You know, we don't have a lot of footballers of Asian descent in our game at this particular time, and yet he's one of the emerging stars of the VFL into the AFL, and I really hope that he takes that next step and become a cult-like figure for the Asian community within the Australian football community as well.
Yeah, and when he gets his opportunity, he has been very, very good.
Blakey, who have you got down there?
You put the challenge to me, Whitey, and I've got Brent Prismal here.
Oh, fantastic.
He's got his little baby with him. Brent, how did that feel?
Oh, it was good. Good for the, obviously, pretty young group. First year in the comp, and yeah, I'm sure if we said at the start of the year that you're going to be winning the grand final, we certainly would have taken it. So good for the club, and a lot of hard work for a lot of people, so just a reward.
It's been a long road for you, Brent. You've had a lot of injury problems and troubles in footy. You know, that must feel good.
Oh, it's great. I played in a VFL flag when I was 21 and when I was at Geelong, and I suppose this one probably means a bit more to me. I've put in a little bit more hard work, and it's been a long journey, so yeah, certainly wrapped, and good bunch of fellas as well, so I'm really happy for them.
The last quarter, you looked like you were running all over the top of them. It looked like you had the legs.
Yeah, we've acted in our program. We've done a lot of work. Started pre-season in November. I'm sure Box Hill did as well. But we've been able to run our games, and we've been really confident. And our last 4 or 5 weeks, we've had to come from behind in a few of them. So, Box Hill, a really good side. To come back 2 years in a row here is no easy feat. So, yeah, we knew we were up against it, but we're very happy to come away with the win, obviously.
Liam Jones kicked 5 goals, including 2 really big ones at the end there. He's out of contract next year. Do you think he can make it, you know, at the top level from what you've seen? Yeah,
he's a great player. His final series has been fantastic, along with Tom Campbell and Jason Tartan. A lot of the AFL boys stood up today. So, I've no doubt Liam is going to have an AFL career. He just works so hard, and I hope he gets there in the end. He's well on his way. I'm really happy for him that he had a good day today.
Cheers, Brent. Thank you for that.
Brent Prismal down there with Martin Blake, and at the sea of people, it's like the Pope's turned up.
That's right.
It's amazing.
I've tweeted on Twitter at @white_Adam of just the view that we've got, which is just a sea of red, white and blue. It's amazing if you want to have a look at that photo. But Brent Prismal down there with his little boy Jarvis, absolutely thrilled for him, considering what he's gone through in his career with those 2 knee injuries just at the wrong time. One in a final playing for the Cats on the MCG, and then at Essendon, just when things were starting to turn for the better for him, again on the MCG against Collingwood, and that ended up ending his AFL career.
And what makes it even harder to swallow, as in knowing Pris, not all that well, but I say g'day to him every time I see him, that he's such a good person, and you just don't like seeing injuries at all, but let alone to people such as his calibre. He's a fantastic guy. I know the guys hold him in high regard in the role that he does at the football club and how he conducts himself as a person. He's an absolute star of a guy.
Well, now that the players have made their escape and have got down into the rooms, the punters are sort of moving away, and the old tradition of having a kick after the game is on for young and old. There are thousands of footies whizzing around. Someone will cop one in the eye.
Isn't it good though?
Oh,
fantastic!
Yeah. It's just, we don't see it enough.
This is the stuff that you remember so much as a kid, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it before on Grandstand, is I used to run out there and just go to the 50-metre line and just see how far I could kick it to the goals down towards the southern end. I got further and further every year, and then eventually you get to play on the MCG and take it a little bit for granted. But
no one's been hurt.
No.
Everyone's got smiles on their faces. The ground's held up okay.
Well, I don't understand why they don't do it more often. When you look at rock concerts coming onto the stadium...
And look what it does.
Exactly. Yeah,
look what it does.
Come on, let the kids have a kick. And, I remember growing up, running on to all the ovals, with my dad, with my uncle, with friends, having a kick of the footy for 10, 15 minutes as the crowd disperses. And it's one of the great memories, of a kid. And that's the beauty again. And I'd say the beauty every week at a VFL, you see hundreds and thousands of kids now coming just so they can have a kick, meet their AFL stars at the VFL. It's a great spectacle, great thing.
And you think about a lot have been said this year about the ticket prices and the prices of food at the stadiums in Melbourne, that if you, I'm pretty sure you get more people to the footy if you're allowed to have a kick on the oval after a game. I think it's just a small little price to pay, even though the surf is going to hold up fine. You wouldn't even know by tomorrow that it's that anyone's even been out there.
Shortly we'll be going to a preview of the AFL Grand Final with Andrew Mays. We're going to hear from Alistair Clarkson, John Longmire, their pressers over the weekend, and the road to the Grand Final for both the Sydney Swans and Hawthorn. But here it has been a VFL Grand Final victory to Footscray over the Box Hill Hawks, so it won't be the double for the Hawkers. 16-13, 109 Footscray to Box Hill 13-9, 87, and a magnificent crowd, 23,816. Some of the stats that we can bring you up to date with, well, okay, the medal went to Brett Goods. He finished with 30 possessions, but Lin John nearly ran him down. He had 9 in the last quarter and finished 1 short. The vote must have been a tight one. Maybe they made the vote halfway through the last quarter. I'm not sure. So they could make the presentation afterwards. So it was 30 to Goods, 29 for Lin John. Alex Greenwood had 24 touches. And Jordan Russell, veteran of 10 years of AFL footy, he had 20, the acting captain for Footscray here today. Leading the way for Box Hill was Mitch Hallahan in the different coloured boots. He got 30 possessions. Sam Isles had 20 in the beard, and Ben Ross had 19 possessions. It's been a fantastic day here at the football. We hope you've enjoyed it. For our listeners who've just joined us from the Northern Territory in Tasmania, you missed most of the game, but I can assure you missed an absolute crackerjack of a game. We might go out with a few highlights of the game, leading up to a preview of the AFL Grand Final. I say to Andy Collins, thank you very much for joining us. Man of such great experience. Great to have you on the microphone.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Adam. Great working with you, Lindsay. It's terrific.
Yeah,
great day.
And Lindsay Gilby, terrific day for you, no doubt. And thanks very much for your help during the finals. Whitey, well called. You called one of the goals of the season in any grade of football. It was a beautiful call.
Drew, we've got a lot of good games together on a Sunday this year. I reckon that's almost the best of them.
Absolutely. And Matthew Drew, in the back, with the help of the buttons and helping us out with progress scores of other games that have been going on around the country. Early in the last quarter of the Sandville Grand Final, Norwood 12-9-81, lead by 10 points over Port Adelaide 10-11-71. Hope you've enjoyed the action here from Docklands today.